Last we left our heroes, you had returned successfully from the ocean deep with 2 relics in hand. As you arrived, you reconnected with Archmage Arthur Locke in the College of Whitethorn and found that, in your absence, the city was celebrating a newfound alliance with Balthor Redmane. This alliance came with an expansion of the college, with new annexes to be built in Hammerstock, as well as a hopeful third in the south. This new information was good. These relationships you had fostered and repaired seemingly healing and rebuilding on their own, leaving you to focus on greater things. But now it was time for rest. Returning home, you found sleep, though not all restful. Mary, still haunted by her time beneath the waves, crept from the castle and spent many hours overseeing the city, needing to hear the sounds of nightlife and breathe fresh air. Alana was granted a visit from the Stormlord, who seemingly approved of the new charge to wield his relics. Valentine and Gord, however, received visions or dreams of a less positive change. To Valentine, a scattered series of imagery showed the Summer Queen, contemplative and distracted, followed by a series of images of the Veil aflame. The heart of the world smoldering, and the Everlight tree and Fey crossing, seemingly holding off the smoke and flame, but its wards had begun to crack. Likewise, Gord, not in vision or prophecy, but more in feeling, found this new connection to the flow of life across Vesaria, and felt within it a great loss, as hundreds of lives rapidly met their end, and an old stalwart bond seemingly break. Finally, morning came, and with it, sadly bad news. As you made your way to speak with the king and recap your adventures, you found him not alone, in fact joined by 3 members of the Sylvan Synod and Francis Flurwild. Quickly you came to find those visions of flame across the Veil to be truth, and that the armies of the Nine had marched across the Veil, carving a great line in the sand, as it were. The Vanyar elves, protectors of the Twilight Mountains, were more or less destroyed. The Lindaran forced into retreat, and their loss is great. The Valar forced south by flame, and presumed they retreated to Castirian, but that was not a certainty. The Sylvan tribe were scorched and pushed back as the line of flame struck out and ended at the great tree city of Endora, and the Sylvan Synod retreated with 2 less members. Reeling from this loss, you utilized the scrying power of the Crystal to seek information on the Valar, specifically Celine Van Morn, hopefully still protecting Castirian. However, you only found a gruesome end. You departed with lowered spirits, individually accomplished other business in town before resting in time for another meeting. In Cania, you met with Mephistopheles, once more to hear the final steps to his plan and to receive a usable version of the last word. Mephistopheles was giddy in his findings and delivered a tome in which you could learn or cast the spell. He told you of its power and the burden of its knowledge, and finally that it came with a catch. The last word requires a key component to work, the true name of your quarry. Thus you are tasked with seeking out a copy of the Pact Primeval, upon which Asmodeus' true name would be scribed. Options include his personal vault, deep in the heart of Malshim, on the plane of law and mechanist or lawful good in Mount Celestia, or finally in Sigil, the City of Doors, a neutral domain ruled by the enigmatic Lady of Pain. Whether the information be bartered or fought for was to be a challenge, nonetheless. With that, you return home once more, and with time ticking to the next full moon, before which you have to acquire Azuth's fate and the true name of the devil, and then head to a battle for the ages. We begin tonight. What's the plan?
Where are we right now?
I was just about to ask, where the fuck are we?
I don't remember.
To your home.
Great.
We returned home. Okay.
Standing in the foyer of your fort.
For the listener, we had to take a week off, and we feel so rusty. Kyle, when you were describing some of that shit, I was like, oh my god, I forgot all about that. Oh, fuck, I forgot we have to get his name, and he gave us all his choices. Fuck. Shit. Oh no. Okay, we have to get a Zeus fate first. So at least that's a good starting point for us.
Well, and apparently we can get to, he was saying we might be able to get to the City of Doors through the tower as well.
He seemed to imply something like that.
Yeah, it makes sense to do a Zeus fate first too, because we need, or I imagine Gord needs as much time with that shit as possible, because it seems like there's some kind of time travel bullshittery that's going to come out of using that thing. So the more that practice and the more we know about that, the better.
So we know it's in our only clue really is it's in the north. We know it's in the north. That's where it
We
was
have
last
that
spotted.
skeleton key.
We have the skeleton key.
Alabaster.
Could we get a brief recap on that alabaster key? That's what Mephistopheles gave us, and it will open the tower, or like a door into the tower.
So Mephistopheles and Mordenkainen seem to share some kind of bond, some kind of relationship. Likely, you can imagine a deal of some time was made. He was very aloof with that kind of information of how they came to know one another. There definitely seemed to be like a respect to Mordenkainen, and you can gather that like as Mephistopheles is like the arcane wielding archdevil, like that's his bag, that he and Mordenkainen would have got on pretty well, oddly enough. And he implied that Mordenkainen, being a well-prepared and suspicious and always kind of ready for a fight or to flee, whatever need be, as an adventurer such as yourselves would be, left himself a series of pathways back to his tower, to his lair, to his domain. And scattered, Mephistopheles seemed to imply that scattered around the plains, likely around Vesaria, in other places that Mordenkainen would have frequented, would be hidden passages to his tower. And they could only be accessed via this particular type of key. And Mephistopheles seemed to manage to... He didn't exactly explain how he came about this key, but he seemed to have one and pass it on to you as should you find one of these doors, this is your key.
So that's good, because that doesn't necessarily mean we have to be patrolling the north as our exclusive option.
This means we have to find where he used to be frequently.
Well, we know he was like one of these champions, and they hung out at the Platinum Sanctuary. Like, maybe we should visit Uth, talk to him.
Uth might know what it is. He might know where he would come from. Like, none of us know where he came from, where he frequented, any of that.
DM,
but Uth knew him.
On that note, like, Mordenkainen had no relation to Arendelle and like their magic here.
As far as you know.
Okay, yeah. I feel like it would be known. Yeah, our best bet might be Uth here. I imagine we're sitting in our little study, sipping some coffee, trying to figure this out, just for figuring out where we are. Any other leads we could go off of? Something just to consider, not to abandon our entire plan here. One of the relics is in the Underdark. That's what the Grey Lady, Hondo's lady, gave us like the hint of. And it seems like that's where we know the Revenant Vow have been traversing from. They've like burst out of the Underdark. Now they made their way through the Veil, burnt it down. Just something to consider, that there's some sort of like tie there.
I know, I've thought of that too. I'm just concerned we don't have enough time.
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to figure out how the fuck the Vow, the Eldrazi, all of them are moving. How they got themselves to the middle of the Veil without anyone seeing them. I mean, we saw that they were moving underground through the Underdark. But honestly, we have higher shit to deal with right now. If we somehow get really lucky and manage to, blow through some of this stuff, I'd like to try. I think that's a good idea, but I'm concerned about a lot of it. I really fucking wish I wish we had the time. I wish I thought of it earlier, of a way to try to hinder all this fucking training the Eldrazi's been doing for them. Learned about it a little too late.
Well, why don't we just keep that in the back of our minds? But maybe going to the Platinum Sanctuary is a good call. See Uth, see what he knows. If he's kind of doesn't really have anything, we could ask Aetherius, try and do a legend lore, see if we could find out a little bit more about the Alabaster Tower, or where Mordenkainen hung out.
I mean, doing it on the Alabaster Tower in general might not be a bad idea. We haven't done that yet. But have you done one yet this morning? I don't
Nope.
remember.
Scry
Because in
or
general,
Legend
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 lore. Because it's something, it's super fucking legendary. And
Yeah.
again, of course, Uth, I still agree, is our best bet. It's a good idea to start there. However, while we're in the city, do we need to... We said we were going to go back with better information, considering the really, really bad news we got last time we were here. And you did mention, Valentine, that we were potentially going to have to lose a fight. You said that to a room full of people. Just putting this out there right now. Maybe that entire discussion, that concept that I just said, does not get mentioned outside of that room we know that is scry-proof and the Platinum Sanctuary.
Should we?
None of us talk about it at all. Because...
No, the how it has to go down at Casterian, that we have to lose that fight and make it seem like we weren't losing. But Mary, do you think we should like kill everyone that was in that room just to be sure?
No, I'm more on the side of we were vague as we could be. Perhaps we provide slightly more information, but I'm just saying that we do not speak about any of this plan outside of anywhere we know is secure, because we can look on people. Why wouldn't they be able to look in on us?
So Hondo, if anyone starts talking about that in this party, full permission to kill them.
Yes.
No
just
questions asked.
Maybe just knock them out. Unless it's Elena. Good fucking luck if it's Elena. But
yeah. If Elena starts talking, you just let her talk. But anyone else, try and go for them.
So maybe we do go. I mean, this can be talked about more in the Platinum Sanctuary too. But did we promise a report to the king? I vaguely remember saying something to the effect of, "We don't know more yet. We'll know more in a few days." Hasn't been a few days. It's been a day.
Yeah, it's been a day.
I think we might need ourselves to understand this a little bit better, and I think it needs discussing. I just don't want to discuss it here.
If I'm not mistaken, sorry to interrupt. If I'm not mistaken, it was implied that you would. You're under no oath to do so. You can do what the fuck you want, and everyone would pretty much understand. Like, yeah, the wildcards are busy. It's okay.
I mean,
they got you.
Yeah.
If all else fails, I can get a message to the castle now. So
the key component here is like they wanted to know basically your input as they're sending armies south. Like they are amassing as instructed, essentially, and where you think would be the best place to hold. Like they'll make their decisions if you don't want to weigh in, obviously, but this was the opportunity in which you could take to inform them as best you can, or at the very least get that same information yourselves as to what they want to do. You don't have under any obligation to do so. It's purely, do you want to do that? And you did say that you could do it in a couple of days, but the sooner the better, because obviously the vow is moved and taken stake and claim. The rest of the world needs to follow suit.
I think in general there need to be forces down there. I think what happens with those forces once they get down there is something we might have a say in. So that's not something that we need to, and I mean, admittedly, we don't have our whole plan yet. Once we do, we might be able to inform it a little better. I'm not sure. Again,
if you wanted to then like delay, then I would suggest, just based on obviously like this has been 2 weeks to you guys in real time, but in player terms, this was like yesterday.
We had brunch.
Yeah, like it'd be worth sending a message or sending like a messenger just to say like, we're still working on shit. We'll get back to you in like a day or two. Like that would be worthwhile.
And we should say, we're working on some stuff. We have a plan in place behind the scenes, but we got to get some stuff. No changes to the army plan though. Like, yeah, I liked what they were doing. I didn't like the idea of like a 300-esque stand for some of those elves so they can fall back a bit, and
it'll take a couple of weeks of travel for like they're going to be moving quickly, but like it's going to be pushing it to people are already en route to change their paths and directions. It takes time for the message to get there, it takes time for the orders to fall in line, and then the shift to happen. So expediency is important, but you have time.
I keep trying to think if there's anything else that we can, any other information, any other people we can talk to grease any wheels in terms of just moving people, but I keep coming up short.
Feels good. Like, we know that the Redmanes are on great terms now. We know they're getting ready to. We know, like, there's a... I forget now. After watching so much season 3 of Critical Role, is it Marquette here, Kyle, or what is the Southwest province?
Osmet.
Marrakesh.
Osmet
Marrakesh. We know that Marrakesh, they've tried to make some sort of play there. Maybe that's something we do later, but I think for now, let's go to the Platinum Sanctuary, see if Uth has any thoughts, and then we could legend lore after that if we get a little more info.
Sure.
Why don't we go? Oh, I can just teleportation circle. I don't have to go anywhere. That's good.
Yep. I'm trying to remember the time of day. I think it was relatively early. I think you guys at this point are like, no, you guys had to spend a couple hours in hell.
Yeah, we had to wait in hell.
So it's probably mid to late afternoon. But still.
I think we woke up late too because we got like back at like midnight from.
Yeah.
Like by the time we got back after crack and stuff, and
as you finish this,
so we're probably still on a later. Yeah.
And begin Valentine setting out the runes and sigils of the teleportation circle, relying on your notebook to send you back to the Platinum Sanctuary. The rest of you gather your things, get yourselves settled, and wait for Valentine to finish scribing the sigil. And you can see that the sun is beginning to get low on the horizon, though not setting yet. You'd wager you've got another 2 hours before sunset, just to give you an idea of time of day. But
fuck wintertime. It's like 6 o'clock that sun sets now.
Well, it's even a little earlier in the north here. But rather quickly and easily, Valentine, teleportation circles set, and you all head
While he's doing that, I'll use, while he's like taking the 10 minutes, I'll just use the sending stone because I already fucking have it. And any extra pieces of paper and all that flying around with any information is never good. To just send a message to Alexander that's like something to the effect of, hey, we were here, we're taking off for a bit, but could you let the king know we still will be having that conversation, but we're trying to find out more, move along as planned, any of that kind of stuff.
I think as quickly as you try and get that information across, the bulk of the information is got across with the sending stone. You're not sure if you fit it all into 25 words, but the sending stone finishes. You get a positive response from Alexander, and the teleportation circle flares, and you arrive back in the very, very, very warm Platinum Sanctuary.
Just a quick ask: are you bringing Keith, Brawley? I will have brought Fern.
To the Platinum Sanctuary.
Yeah,
it's safe.
Should be fine. Yeah, he should be okay.
You guys are still well under the limit of figures for teleportation circle with Keith, so it should be fine.
Well, Hondo, did you bring anyone? Did you have anyone stay over last night, or? Okay, great.
As you descend,
You're muted. Kev, you're muted. Sorry, not you, Sal. This is Kev's first time using a computer. There we go.
They're of no concern.
They're of no concern. Okay, great. Because I heard noise. We don't have to talk about it.
I'm imagining every time we stay there, it's just like a different girl just leaves in the morning.
That's what I picture. Just to get at the breakfast table, whole assortment of people walking down those stairs.
The staff are very gentle, and they just kind of usher them on, very Pepper Pot style. But rather quickly, you are brought down this kind of entry into Platinum Sanctuary. It is surprisingly, not surprisingly, but it is a stark contrast in temperature from rather cold north winter to, blistering desert. But you settle in and are not immediately greeted by anyone. However, you do hear the sounds of someone kind of humming off in the kind of area of like where you've dined before, and then the kind of shuffling as you guys begin making your way across, and you do see Uth Kadar the dragonborn kind of keeper of the Platinum Sanctuary make his way out from this kind of dining hall, and you can see he's got this salad bowl in hand and one big hand, and he's kind of got this big like two like spoons that he was like in the process of mixing up a salad as he looks across and says, "Oh well, lovely to have you back in the sanctuary so soon. I'm a little surprised. I hope I have enough. We'll have enough dinner. Please, are you hungry?"
Oh, and that's so accommodating. We just kind of had like a late, like dinner, like a lunch dinner thing. Salad, that's nice. Is that for Teddy?
This is for myself, but Theodore is enjoying his own dinner of some greens.
Because we talked about him being, trying to get a little more lean muscle mass.
He looks quite good for his age.
Okay.
Theodore. And you hear just this just bounding out into the hall here. You do see Teddy has gotten, it's grown pretty significantly, and he is looking, relatively large. He's still in the kind of teenage age. He's still in the teenage years of his owlbear kind of life, but he doesn't rival Keith, but he might rival Fern.
Oh man, he's a big boy.
He's getting big, and there's not much anyone can do. He's still a pretty bulky, but he's got some like muscle mass as well as just straight mass.
I rush up to him and try and tackle him, but just hit a wall.
Yeah, there's no moving him, but he does kind of flop over on top of you. You feel a rib crack.
Oh, Teddy, it's so good to see you.
Uth kind of makes a little like tut and says, "Theodore, please finish your meal before visiting." Teddy just kind of and then makes his way back into the dining area.
Oh, that's so good to see him. He looks great. He looks excellent. Thank you so much for taking care of him, Uth.
He's become quite a good friend. It's nice to have others back in the sanctuary and purpose once more.
We come actually not just pleasure but business. With Hondo, it's always a lot of pleasure, but this is, I think, business. Are you free to talk now? Could we have a quick convo?
Always free.
What do you know about Mordenkainen? He was part of the Platinum Sanctuary, wasn't he? I know he's kind of standoffish.
That's a rather large question.
Yeah.
Do you need to know his history that I know, or more of his involvement with our early dealings in the Dragon Guard? And
I think
narrow it down. Yeah.
Yeah. Primarily where he frequented and places that were important to him, and admittedly, if you know anything about the staff.
Did he have a spot here that was like a secret spot that he liked? Maybe like a pristine white looking door that he had like installed in some room?
That's very specific. You went from very vague to hyper specific.
Just trying.
But unfortunately, no doors he had installed or activated, and he had a room here too that was his own, as did everybody, and but they have since been passed over, and I believe at some point even one of you have stayed within. There was nothing particularly special to these rooms. No one made any of the rooms their own, but everyone found a place within the sanctuary that did become their own. The training pits were often frequented by everyone, but Ragnar found great use, and for the most part spent much of his days there, alongside Castiel. Sylvanus, he kind of gestures to this small garden kind of eating area. Sylvanus tended and began a humble garden here. it has forever thrived thanks to his great thumb and his connection. And I have been caretaker ever since. But of Mordenkainen, of course, the library was his domain more than most. All were welcome, but the curation of its tomes was purely his. Those are either amassed, acquired of his own volition, or brought from personal libraries of his own. That was where he would spend most of his time when here, I should say. He did often frequent his own tower, of course, as you must be aware of the Alabaster Tower. We have spoken briefly of its importance in history. The Alabaster Tower would be his most frequented domain, but of course, lost for now.
Would you believe that we're trying to find it?
I would. I have tasked you.
Yeah, that's actually pretty obvious. Yeah.
Blow it up with the staff.
Not. What's your obsession with blowing up mage towers?
Well, very specifically magic towers that are technically like demi-universe or demi-planes that could very much explode the world. Yeah. It's a lot of put a bag of holding and another bag of holding energy.
Yeah.
Even I know that's bad. I don't know shit about magic.
Is there any more? Anything more specific I could aid with?
I mean, that's a good place to start. And we have, I don't know if this would work, but we have actually I still fucking have it, and I'll pull out the Wayfinder Sphere. There's like a slot to put an item in here, right? If we say we're looking for a door, put the key in here.
We'll be totally transparent, Uth. We have a key that once belonged to Mordenkainen that he kind of put little stepping stone doors, some sort of teleportation way to get to his tower, likely scattered them across Vesaria, and we're looking for one because we need to get into his tower. And this key would enable us to do that. Our thinking was maybe you would know something that could lead us to a clue, or simply perhaps Mordenkainen left some sort of escape door here that could lead back to the Alabaster Tower.
It's certainly possible. It would be... There are a handful of figures in all of history who would be able to circumnavigate the guards and wards of the sanctuary that would allow extraplanar or teleporting abilities. There's a particular reason that your ability to come here resides above the sanctuary itself and not within.
That's a good point.
But Mordenkainen,
anyone could do it.
Precisely. He's one step shy of Mistra.
Speaking of
it's the god of magic, Hondo.
Speaking of the protections on this place, would it be fair to say that any conversation we have here can't be looked in on?
Again, it would take significant power to do so. That being said, your foe is not insignificant. Though the minions of said foe, the Platinum Sanctuary's guard should hold against any mortal attempts.
Do you have any idea if the Alabaster Tower has similar protections?
I would imagine so. Mordenkainen, if anything was suspicious and untrusting, to get him to even work alongside the rest of the Dragon Guard was a feat unto itself. He ultimately came to understand to serve alongside was for the greater good. And in truth, I'm sure he found whatever angle he had to make it work for his own means, whatever they may be. I am frank that Mordenkainen and I did not particularly have a warm relationship. My
know the feeling.
my servitude to a higher power he often would scoff at, despite understanding its truth and reality.
Mine's more like a personality thing. There's like someone in the group whose personality is like abrasive.
That's a good way to describe him as well. Abrasive, but none smarter.
This guy's not that smart. He's not that smart. It's just more still like very abrasive.
Valentine gets a very sharp elbow in the ribs.
Ow. Oh, that's the one Teddy cracked.
There was only, in truth, one figure within our midst who seemed to crack that exterior. He and Sylvanus found some kinship. I don't know if that will ultimately aid you in any way, but I suppose there's something to consider.
Was there anything, I read that whole journal. I know we only went into detail about like the sections that mattered, but was there anything in that journal that I can remember about him talking specifically about Mordenkainen?
Yeah. Very specifically, Mordenkainen seemed to be the linchpin in their plan, and that he and Sylvanus were sharing in like the visions and dreams of kind of the foretelling of what would come. And it was implied that between the two of them, the plan came to fruition, and then the rest of the team kind of came together to implement said plan of ultimately defeating Tharjan and kind of resolving the reckoning. But it seemed to be, the tone was very much Sylvanus at first suspicious of Mordenkainen, ultimately coming to respect and understand, even if he never got the answer as to what it was Mordenkainen was like dealing with. But there was like a kinship that eventually resolved, that you're able to kind of gather from that, and that would very much align with what Ruth is saying, that the two of them understood one another best of the groups.
I wonder if he put a door in Castle Avalon or something like that.
Interesting. If this doesn't pan out, that's potentially something to look into. Admittedly, going back and forth, we've had this conversation, going back and forth with the Feywild is a big fucking risk.
Mm-hmm. Can't even do that today if we wanted to as well. Tapped with that.
Well, for the time being, please, let's go disturb our other friend in our library.
How's Damascus been doing? Has he put a dent in the tomes there yet?
Has he come up for air?
Well, he certainly needs a shower. He's sparsely left the library. It seems to be where we're headed in general, so it'd be good to get his nose out of the books for but a brief moment. And as to putting a dent, I believe he has indeed put a significant dent in such time. But please, I think potentially something to consider, his connection to Sylvanus. Castle Avalon would be what Mordenkainen would consider a tucked away kind of avenue.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But likewise, the Platinum Sanctuary was known to very few, accessible, equally as difficultly. So if there is a door here, if there is, I will balk at the fact that I've never stumbled upon it myself in all this time. But
it'd just be an average door that maybe with this key powers it to be something different, though.
I'd like to think that I've passed through every door in this humble sanctuary, but perhaps you'll prove me wrong. Let's find out.
I mean, it admittedly doesn't have to be a door. Like, wizards like things like bookcases that lead to secret shit, and full of the put on a piano, you press a note, and all sorts of weird spy shit.
Like a toilet,
did you
flush it,
Yeah.
flushes it.
Did you ever notice if he just showed up without using that teleportation circle above? Like, you thought he was gone and suddenly he's in the library?
Bless you, Brawley.
Sure. I'd have to truly think back. This is many, many years.
No, I understand. And if you're not particularly close, there was a lot of people here.
At that time in our history, there were far more bodies passing through. Now, people coming and going would be something of note. Then, nearly all of the champions were coming and going of their own volition, alongside a number of other followers and Dragon Guard members who perhaps didn't hold the title of champion, but were important nonetheless. So unfortunately, I don't recall his coming and going being especially significant, other than it was sparse. He would come for short periods and stay for some extended periods, but oftentimes he was anywhere but here.
Well, let's go see what Damascus is up to. Check in the study.
You guys begin making your way down the hall as Uth finishes his salad along the walk, and you come across the kind of central hub of the Platinum Sanctuary, and you see once more the massive statues of each of the champions, and you can see the relics held and displayed within these almost marble statues of these champions who you've come to kind of follow in the footsteps of. And Allie, there's a moment as you kind of cross that threshold, and you can see up to the right is a slightly smaller statue than the rest, but still large. And you can see Ragnar and a massive belt and the hammer slung over his shoulder, and this wry grin ever plastered to his face. And you can just feel, though there's no visual, there's nothing more, you can feel a static connection from the symbols of Cord and Ragnar and the relics you have so recently acquired. And there's just a kinship, unspoken but felt. The rest of you look across similar relics and similar heroes, but ahead, the door to the library, you open, and it is a flurry of books and papers that are all just in small piles all over the place. They have been in some kind of organization, but also haphazard. It seems to be kind of a mad dash of books and papers all around the room. And you can see settled in one of the single kind of wingback chairs, Damascus sat with a stack of books on either side of him, as tall as the wings of the chair, and one in hand, and he's got a small table and multiple bottles of ink that have been long emptied, and he's making his own notes, and you see the stack of papers is growing. And it's almost like a long beat as everyone enters the room before he snaps to and looks up.
Excuse me, sir, do you have your card with you?
Well, it has been some time. He goes to stand up, and he just bends and snaps. And as he shifts and moves, it sounds like gravel just grinding through his entire body as he just bends and cracks and shifts and moves. And it's just
just looking at the mess. Mary's just oh no, just can't understand. It's that eye twitching, this is how does anyone work like this?
He puts a hand out and says, there's organized chaos here. I know it looks like a lot, but
looks great.
I understand.
Yeah.
Sorry. It's nice to see you. have you been up to?
Oh, great to see
And
you.
those things? Point to Allie.
Yeah, we got those things.
He just blanks. And just kind of moves forward and kind of rubs his finger along the edge of the hammer before kind of standing back and says, "My apologies. Sorry, that was..."
Yeah, no, here. You can touch all you want. I got this too, see?
He, like, with the hammer in hand, doesn't even look at the belt at first. With the hammer, he just kind of looks and, like, is just absorbed with the head of the hammer, which is still that kind of purple crystal is embedded in the center of the hammer, and it's like the etching of like the shockwave effect out from it. He is just like absorbed in it. And he says, "Man, am I glad you guys found me."
Same. I'm glad we found you. Also, Mary's nail. Yeah, Mary's nail is like super powerful. Saved her from death. Like, yeah.
The Kraken may be coming here to get those back.
Well, it's probably a good thing we're in a desert then, I guess.
Oh, apparently it can go anywhere.
I don't like hearing that. I'm not even 100% sure if what you're saying is possible. At this point,
We're not really sure either. Yeah.
I'm just going to stay in this room. Never mind.
We did fight a Kraken. We'll tell you that story. By fight, I mean got our ass kicked by a Kraken and its baby. We'll tell you that story later.
I mean, you're alive, so...
Yeah. Barely. Yeah, have you found anything interesting recently in all your research, or just
That's
so
a
much?
big question. I mean, in truth, actually, it's been recounting answers that I've searched for hundreds of years. I've wanted to know what the history of the world truly was, and this is the direct telling of that history. It's all here, and I have to believe the source is truthful. There's no reason not to believe what's written in every page here. It's the history of the world laid bare in full truth and he just kind of just grows wistful for a second. With the hammer so heavy in hand, he just kind of lets it kind of slowly rest on the ground and kind of leans on it as he just kind of looks across.
Come back to us.
Sorry. I've learned a lot. We'll say that.
Great. Yeah. Anything to do with Mordenkainen? Any recent studies on him?
I mean, some of this is firsthand from him. Anything specific you want to narrow that down?
He mentioned we're looking for a door. We have this key. We'll just be fully transparent, lay it all out. We have this key, looking for a door. Mordenkainen, any places he went to in particular that would teleport him to his tower. Looking for any hotspot places that he might have adored and made a secret passage at.
He starts like scanning and looking across, and he kind of moves across the room, and he kind of thumbs his finger up along like a series of books. This like tower as tall as he is 6'6". And he finds a tome and just kind of quickly pulls it out, makes the others kind of tumble down, but he catches them. And he kind of thumbs through it and says, "I'm not sure the purpose of this. I believe it was partially a journal and partially almost like a spell manuscript or something to that effect. He, as far as I can tell, written in Mordenkainen's hand, is discussing the consolidation of what I believe to be an annex of his tower. He calls it the Tower of Doors. I could imagine his tower being modular, so to speak, with the amount of power he held it would not be even a particularly great feat for his level, but to people, of our ilk, being able to shift and make this tower as impressive as it was. It rivals the full power of the Sapphire Academy. But to the question of doors, I believe that he was trying to essentially amass access points to many different realms, consolidated all in one hub that he seemed to dub the Tower of Doors. He has a kind of a list of, I don't know if they're hopeful destinations or it seems stream of consciousness almost, and it doesn't have a final note. It's this notebook is about maybe half full. He seems to either have moved on to somewhere else that I haven't come across yet, or I don't know, perhaps just didn't need it anymore, was just going on his own. But he has a series of places and planes listed as potentials, and then a lot about the idea of trying to how to consolidate all of that power and how to do that without destroying the rest of the tower.
Jeez.
I don't fully understand all of the arcane elements to it, but it seems to be something he was working on.
That's super helpful.
You know if there's anything in this room that he had installed or created or anything with his mark on it outside of just, really big bookshelves?
I mean, he kind of looks to Uth, and Uth kind of gestures around and says, for the most part, the entirety of the library was his making. An element of the sanctuary's creation allowed myself through a powerful ritual through Bahamut, alongside some of the other Dragon Guard, to shape the temple as we needed it. So we were able to create this space and the shelves within, but the contents needed to be filled by, well, in this case, Mordenkainen. Anything that is not attached to the floor or walls will be brought here by him or by any of the other Dragon Guard or champions.
Could we see that list, Damascus, that Mordenkainen was making?
Of course, yeah. He says it's not a direct list, but over the book, he seems to be marking off places with like potentials, and he kind of thumbs through and like shows like he's like this section. He's got a whole bit about a place, if I'm not mistaken, in hell. It's called Ribcage. And he's like detailing like basically you can see in this very flourishing script. Mordenkainen goes into detail about Ribcage and some of the politics, and like you can see some titles and names and places and like very like bullet point and hash marked and quickly, like some scratched out and just quickly thoughts that seem to fill multiple pages, just continuous stream of consciousness.
How useful would this have been like a month and a half ago? Just like looking around to the group, fucking Ribcage.
Yeah.
I mean, I guess it's not really a thing anymore by the time we got there.
For the listener, pre-stream, you can find in one of our recaps, we went to Ribcage and ended up at a devil casino. It's a whole thing, but we've been there.
It was pretty fun to play.
It was a good time.
Yeah.
Terrible stakes, but it was a good time.
He says, is there anything specific? I know I keep asking for specifics, but is there anything more specific I can help like hone in for you? Like this is a half-filled journal, but it's a big book still.
I mean,
We're
if
trying
there's
to
anything
find
about here,
Yeah, the main thing is trying to find a way to get in his tower, some sort of entrance to his tower. We have a key. That key could unlock a door to get us to the tower, but we just need to know where one of these entrances could be.
Well, let's start. Here, well, give me a little bit of time. I'll flip through the book. I'm a pretty good speed reader, and I've already been through it, so I'll be able to kind of sift through. Nothing's kind of jumping ahead, but give me a minute.
I will inspire him and be like, if anyone can do it, you can. Throw an inspiration your way. But then Hondo, Mary, do you guys want to case this joint and maybe try and see if there's any hidden passageways, doors, something he might have put in? Like you said, Mary, like a secret bookcase?
No, I feel like you might have experience with getting into places you're not supposed to get into.
Absolutely. I would be happy to try.
So in this
Would
case,
you help him, Mary?
Yeah, Mary.
Yeah, I'll do
are
the
you
same thing.
aiding, or are you doing your own check?
Tev can roll with advantage.
Okay.
All right.
Then Kevin, go ahead and make an investigation check at advantage.
Oh,
Okay, roll better than a 3.
3 for the first one.
What's your inspiration, Scott?
D10.
Oh,
now.
Jesus.
What was that, a 5? What was
Yep.
that? I think that's the thing you take 10 on, though, right?
My investigation is, it's full circle.
Perfect.
Yeah, so it's a 10.
The minimum.
Plus-
10 and
Plus-
11. 21.
Nice. Not bad.
Okay.
Let's all, along with stuff that, stuff that looks like it might have been added later. Trying to identify anything that might have not his mark on it necessarily, but isn't part of the original structure.
Is there anything signed like secret Mordecai and keep out?
It's funny.
That's what we're looking for.
There is.
And it's this door!
On the door you walked into, it straight up says, if you have a special key.
This will teleport you to his
Yeah.
place.
I don't know how you missed it.
Yeah, people never read, that's the thing.
That's a
Like
good
tap for debit, people never read.
That's a good point. Hondo and Mary, you guys begin just kind of, as Valentine instructs, casing the joint, and you just kind of begin making your way through these haphazard stacks and towers of books that Damascus has since laid out and is now settling down to read through this other journal. And everyone else is just kind of fanning out, and just as you guys do what you do. And Hondo, you begin scaling and moving through the shelves and books, and you get a pretty good look on this first level, and there's nothing jumps out at you over the first couple of 5 to 10 minutes. You look up and down, you're pulling on random books to see if any of the shelves shift, or if anything seems to be catching like a little secret lever or anything. And there doesn't appear to be anything physical. You make your way to the second level, and where the first level, the shelves more or less it's about 10 feet up, and the shelves go up that high, and you can see there's a couple of those shifting ladders to go on each of the walls, and on one wall is a full hearth, like a full 10-foot tall, massive stone fireplace around which the seating area is sit. But you take up one of these spiral kind of staircases to the second level, in this kind of balcony that overlooks. And it's more of the same. These shelves are about 10 feet tall as well here, and you begin kind of thumbing through books and trying to kind of pull a Mary. You begin following suit and doing along the same, and you guys are trying to shift the bookcases, but the bookcases themselves seem to be heavily embedded in the actual structure. It doesn't seem like they're added. It's almost like they've melded out of the stone of the sanctuary itself, and then became wood, or transmuted almost. It's the best way you can see a transition point. So it doesn't seem like there's anything hidden behind or within the actual bookcases. But you make your way around the kind of exterior of this balcony second level. You get all the way from staircase around to the other side, where there's another staircase that leads back down. And Mary, you begin descending. As Hondo, you take one last pass, just going back, this time not necessarily looking physically, but just looking. And your eyes kind of almost glaze for a second as you're just looking for what stands out to you. And as you come back to the middle of this upper level, there's There's just shelves, obviously, but there's like a shelf that has a couple of other little bits and trinkets on this back wall that would be like the wall that you would enter from this side and come in on the second level. There's like little bits and bobs and trinkets and things that are up on these shelves in amongst the books. Some of them are nothing of particular interest, like there's like a small orrery, and there are some other like circular brass and gold items. You're not sure what they are. You do find actually a rather nice gold compass and like spyglass that are just kind of tucked away, magnifying glass as well. But there is this clock that this kind of like, it kind of curves down and kind of curves around, and it's this like 1.5 foot long piece, one piece of marble or alabaster. It just feels to be connected, and you kind of pick it up, and it's weighty. You can kind of feel and shift, and it does in fact have like a standard clock face on it, which is rather unique. But as you kind of shift it, you can just feel there's something more to it. You can feel like there's like as you pick it up, you can feel something, the weight within kind of shift and move. And it should. That piques your interest.
That's interesting. Can we try and open it?
Well, Honda, you have it. What are you doing?
I'm going to try and open it.
Okay.
Also, I found 2 vials that look familiar, and they're the explosive vials, so score.
I thought you were going to say the P vials. That's way more.
Yeah, you think they're explosive vials. They are, in fact.
Shouts to the golden compass, by the way. That's just in this world. We mentioned the golden compass.
Kev, go ahead and make a sleight of hand check. Okay.
Oh, what are you doing tonight, pal? 5 on the dice?
I know.
You must
Sleight
have a
of
10 on
hand
that, right?
Is 7, so 12.
Is it a full thing though? Is it not a
No.
full thing? Oh, the
3/4.
worst rogue. The worst rogue.
You
God.
begin kind of shifting it, and you can feel there's an element of play there that you're like, you can shift and you can feel something kind of move, and you feel it move back, and you feel it move again, and you feel like it catches on something for a second, but it never stops. All you've got is this piece inside this clock that's moving back and forth.
So
unfortunately, nothing more.
What I'm gonna do is I take Whisper out, and I stab the thing with it. Like I try and like just hack it off.
What the fuck is he doing over there?
Yeah, it's an open balcony. You just see Hondo holding this kind of like white marble
is he doing?
thing, and then just bring Whisper down. You bring Whisper down hard. Whisper is an impressive dagger, but this is a hardened piece of marble that you're just trying to strike with a blade. It has a clock face in it, but there's not. What you do is you damage the clock face. Like you strike down hard. The clock just like it no longer is functioning, and it like has split and broken.
Faceless artifact.
The hands are just split off and fire, and the face plate that is behind it cracks and falls away, and behind it is a flattened marble face. Like the clock face, what you could imagine, magically doesn't necessarily need the tumblers and movement of a physical clock like we would know. Behind it is just this marble.
Can I
Don't tell
go up
Damascus
to him?
that you just like destroyed a piece of history.
Well, everybody saw
He
that,
loses his mind.
and everyone kind of looks up at this because the pieces splinter and fly around the room, and you guys just hear
Jesus Christ. That'll be impossible to replace.
And everyone
Can
just
I
kind
start
of-
walking up to him?
Sure.
Hondo, what about this? Do you mind if I see it too?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm gonna take out the alabaster key and just move it near this thing. Anything
Okay.
happen?
Make
More or less, I
Okay.
want to try and touch the key to the face part.
Also, does it look like they're made of the same material? Like you said, it was
That's a
kind of
good
like a
note.
marbly
That's a good
material.
Make an Arcana check.
You got it.
They do immediately appear to be the same material.
Nat 20, 32.
You bring the key to the face, and with you and Hondo standing there, you can just feel that this is going to work. This is going to be the moment. And they're exactly the same material. But it just clink. There's no effect.
Huh. That should have
But-
worked. I feel like that should have worked.
As you hold the pieces kind of touching together, you can feel in the hand that is touching the larger piece that was once a clock, now is just a piece of alabaster thanks to Hondo. You can feel a resonance, an arcane resonance. There is a call and response, but it's unfulfilled. The connection is incomplete.
I'm like, do I try something and get sucked into this tower alone? Can I say, I'll bring it back down to the group? Hannah, why don't we go near them again? I'll kind
You
of
also-
explain.
I just want to point out as well, you can also feel something still moving within, like as you pick it up, like there's still that whatever I was describing to Hondo, there's still this, like, as you kind of move and shift with it, you can feel as if the inside is hollow somehow.
Does
try and
the
break through
back
again?
have anything on it? Oh, hold on. Oh, jeez, you're going to stab me.
Flat
Flat. So smooth on both sides, flat.
on basically the top, over top, the bottom, and back and front is now there's no clock face to it, a perfectly blank piece of this alabaster stone.
I have an idea. I go and bring, Brody, can I borrow your hammer for a minute,
Nope.
please?
No. I hold it. I hold
Well,
it to my
don't
chest.
smash it.
You've already destroyed this artifact, Hondo. Like, what if the little fucking arms on the clock had to be a certain way to trigger this thing? You just destroyed our only chance to save the world.
Well, also keep in mind, this thing in theory, got used fucking regularly. Like, you wouldn't have to bust it open each time to fucking use it.
Can I hold it and see if I get a connection or something from it? Maybe like a.
You know what rocks?
I do know about rocks. I can do a history check.
Rock check.
Do you want to try and do your stone cunning feature?
Roll a rock check.
Sure, why not? A rock check.
I think you get advantage, and it's a history check for you.
Okay. Ooh, 17.
Okay. It is indeed alabaster. It is the exact same material as the key. And on closer inspection of both key and what once was a clock, this stone is incredibly old, but not. It
Timeless wonder.
It kind of feels weirdly brand new and ancient. And you can tell that there's definitely a hollow core, and you can feel that there's something shifting and moving with your movement. It's not moving independently. As you're turning it over and looking it over, you can almost hear this kind of clunking, like something is shifting back and forth in a hollow core.
Can I try and use a spell on it, like Mage Hand?
Sure.
Like, I wonder if it just reacts to spells. Like, could I try and...
What's the
I'll
weight
use
limit on Mage Hand? If you're going to use prestidigitation, it doesn't matter.
10 pounds for that.
Okay.
So I'll just try...
I thought it was 5.
I'll try
yeah.
prestidigitation, though. I'll just try and, like, put a little spritz on it, try and clean it up a bit and see if it reacts at all.
Seems to not have any effect.
I mean,
You guys
maybe
felt
if
like
this-
there's something inside this, right? Probably you felt that too?
Oh, definitely, for sure. There's something in here. It's just a matter of getting it out.
Either that or what's in there is something it's part of a bigger key, right? It's like a tumbler system. You need what's in there to be sitting in a certain way. What shape is the clock itself, Kyle? Is it like traditional, I think like Cogsworth?
Nope. It is.
It's like this, right?
It's more. So it's like think of like a longer piece of like what is that? 4 inches, maybe 5 inches of this kind of rectangular piece that kind of curves down like this, and in the middle it rises up and would make like a longer piece with a slightly risen up, almost like think of like a coat hanger if it was thicker and wider and made of
It's like a fancy ass lindel.
Yes.
Is what it looks like.
Yes.
A lindel is the piece above a door frame.
Oh God, I learn something
People
every
didn't
day. Rate and review this pod for learning things. Can I just say
World's End?
Can I say Mordenkainen to it?
Sure.
Like I'll just like go to and whisper like Mordenkainen.
You get real close. Lips nearly touching the alabaster.
Mordenkainen.
You hear, "What are you doing?" From
Whisper
Damascus
to it.
beside you.
God, you're so close. I didn't think you'd be this close to me.
Are you trying to talk to the stone?
I was trying to say like a secret password that
Why would it
Like
be his
someone-
name?
because he's vain like me. Of course it'd be his name.
No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. And he goes back to the book.
Can I try pulling out the Wayfinder sphere? Now that we're in the library, is the slot that's in it, I don't know if it would work because it's supposed to be more for find person, but like there's a free cast in it. We can fucking try and see would the key or any part of the key fit in that.
The key
What
would
would that
fit
tell us?
in the spot of the Wayfinder sphere if you wanted to try that.
I mean, locate objects.
But then what are we locating? The door? Like what?
I don't
Find
know.
the door that
Maybe
this
there's
key
just
fits?
maybe there's an area in here. I mean, I don't know what else we use it for today, and otherwise we could just use more spells to make it work again. I don't know how this
Can
shit
I-
works, but last
It's
time
like a
it got
cool-
me to a corner of a freaky ass temple with a baby kraken. So
The
Yeah,
key does
Jesus.
fit in the Wayfinder sphere if you wanted to try something with it, just for reference.
Mary, do you want to? I can give you the key. Do you want to try and put it in and ask it to find the door?
we can try.
Go for it.
So you go
Guide me
locate
to a door.
object.
Yeah, I'm gonna read. I'm reading the spell. If someone else wants to.
Try something else.
I want to flip the thing upside down and put it down and feel what it does.
As soon as you turn it and it goes from like on its length and the long piece, you can hear, and you turn it again, and it's like a rolling. It's low, like it's dull, but now that you're so focused, you can hear something shifting with it.
And if I touch all parts of it, all of it feels whole. I guess Brawley did like a check, so she would have detected that with her rock check.
With the superior rock check of your dwarven compatriot, this is a hollow core, but an otherwise whole piece of alabaster.
I'm going to take 10 minutes while Mary does that and cast Detect Magic ritually.
That's a good idea.
In the 10 minutes, then, Mary, you cast Locate Object. Have you finished reading the spell?
Yeah, it's just you don't have to know specifically. It just says this spell can locate the nearest object of that particular kind. Like I'm not sure exactly what we're looking for.
So I think in this case, then I need you to be specific with the wording.
I know. I'm also like, who has it in their
I do.
okay, in their D&D Beyond? Does it say something about? Well, what does it say about like using an extra object in there?
Let's see. Inventory.
I think it just enhances the ability. Gives you a direct path, something like that.
Take two. Alternatively, you can use the orb to seek out a creature or object near you. Using the second and third command word, respectively, you can cast the spells Locate Creature and Locate Object from the sphere. As long as you remain within 60 feet of the sphere and the spell detects its target, the sphere can either drift towards the creature or object in question, taking the shortest route to do so, or it can show you an illusionary vision of the path to the target and if it has seen the destination. Once it reaches its destination, or you speak the command word again, the globe drifts to the ground and grows inert. Finally, there's been some alterations. Jesus, alterations. Blah, blah, blah. Place an item close to the target of one of the locator spells into the slot and enhance the cast of the spell with magic of your own. Its reach grows much wider. If you activate the locate object ability with an appropriate item in the slot and expend a spell slot, the range increases by 1,000 feet for every spot above second. With the locate creature, it's the same, but above fourth.
Basically, it's going to give you a more precise location of either thing if you use an item. And
So go for it, use that item. Yeah.
What if I say something like, if it's a key, it needs a keyhole, right? Or a lock, something like a corresponding arcane wall?
You could ask for the lock this key belongs to.
Something like that, yeah. Yeah, it needs somewhere to go. A key needs something to go with. I'll try that.
As you put the key in the Wayfinder sphere, this does require the casting of a spell to enhance it.
I can do that.
I can't do it. Okay.
Yeah,
I can
Someone
drop
just needs to
my
put a
thing.
spell in. In this
I'll
case,
put a hand
locate
out.
object I think is a 2.
Yeah, I'll put a
Yeah,
hand
it
out
is.
and throw a second level's worth of spell energy in that.
It just goes in, and basically that's like the initiation of the cast. But
I cast Thunder Wave at second level at Mary.
the whole library explodes.
Just collapses on top of us.
All of Damascus's like
His notes.
No, my notes. I don't do that. Just the energy, just second level energy.
Mary, with Valentine's energy in it, and everyone, you see the Wayfinder sphere kick to life, and it's kind of brassy golden like orb, almost like a giant golden snitch. All of the pieces suddenly begin to kind of disconnect, and you see this blue light just boof out, and it stops at the edges of every wall and every surface, and you see it almost like overcome everything and almost become this hex, this blueprint. And it begins kind of just a quick scan of this blue energy across everything, including yourselves, before settling back down in a matter of seconds. And then Mary, in the sphere, you can see this illusion kind of pop up, and as you kind of move and shift, it points to the piece of alabaster.
That's
Yeah,
good.
at least-
That's
At
good.
least we got a confirmation.
Good work, Hondo. Just by destroying part of it, you really found this bad boy. So that's great.
Told you.
So I'll take the key again out of that thing and move it up to that thing and say the Alabaster Tower.
Move it up to, sorry?
The face of the
key
clock.
to
Yeah.
the clock face. Effect, unfortunately. Did you finish your detect magic cast? Did you continue doing that?
I can. Yeah. I need 10 minutes. So yeah, if you're
We
cool
can
with
say
it, 10 minutes.
time passes unless anyone wants to do anything in that time.
And I'm just imagining anytime Hondo is anywhere in this place, he just reverts to shadowboxing or trying to fight Ooth. Those are like the two
Punching
things.
books. Just punching these books. Fuck you, book.
Can I do an investigation to see if there's anything worth stealing?
Sure, good.
Like anything that looks valuable, books, any items.
What's
Right.
valuable to Hondo though? It's
Hondo
tough.
begins splitting off from the crew as he begins
He's
reverting.
probably shadowboxing.
Actually casing the joint.
He's probably just boxing.
Oof,
What
you're
is
rolling
going
like dog
on,
shit.
pal?
But it's a
That
10
was a
automatic.
3 for the listener.
Still like a
Jeez.
21 or something like that.
Yeah,
because it
21.
becomes a 10.
My God. You need to free the cookies on the phone.
The
Clear
refresh.
cache or something.
Yep.
We need to send you actual dice.
No, it's not how he does it
I
anymore.
like this
Yeah.
now. We're
I
just
love that
used
he
to it.
shows us first before anyone
Better
else sees it.
verify that I'm telling the truth.
We
Um,
always believe you.
The books here even with that, like it would take you hours to sift through the amount of books here to find it, to see if any of them were particularly worthwhile. And then even then it could take days to go through like and find collector's editions books and, you know, special first printing, you know, crazy shit like that you could in theory go to Fence. Now you can do that over time, but that's not what Honda's about. Honda's about the quick cash. Easily all of that stuff I mentioned before, the magnifying glass, the spyglass, and the golden compass, that's all pure gold. That's worth cash. You could easily
gonna pocket those.
All three of them are easily 100 gold's worth of material. So 300
They're in
gold.
the pocket.
Throw those back. Just you can put 300 gold into your inventory, or each of those you could say like golden something for 100 gold a piece.
Or like back in the early days
too.
when Honda was cash poor. Like,
I know. Did you buy that cloak with like holding thing?
Yeah, you've got the smuggler's coat.
Mhm.
So yeah, you could just put all that shit in there. Yeah.
oh yeah, the cool like firefly coat.
Hopefully we get back to Arendelle so I can do some bartering.
You've got like these like multiple different pockets that are like mini bags of holding all across his body.
So cool.
Unless anyone does anything else in this time, Val, your detect magic will go off. And only to you are just blinded by intense magic from the warden, from the two relics that Alana holds, the armor on Mary. The whisper is blinding from the upper level where Hondo's currently stealing from the Platinum Sanctuary. There doesn't appear to be any magic or source from either piece of Alabaster. The best you can gather, and it's not even so much, you're almost seeing an aura around the piece of alabaster, not the key. The key is inert, but you can see at the core of the alabaster there's a haze of an energy. It's the best you can get. There's a haze of something, but it's not finished.
Gotta crack this puzzle, guys. What we want is inside this. We have to figure out how we can summon it out. And consider, before Honda, you grab Brawley's hammer to smash it. This is probably something he could do quickly, all the time, to get in and out if you wanted to.
I mean, oh no, that's not a good idea. Can't you teleport places if you have a thing that's from that place? I'd imagine, like, if you had both these things, I don't want to blow the one spell or the one chance we have at that.
Yeah,
Out of that spell anyways.
I am out of that.
Teleport?
Let's
I
do
haven't
it.
used teleport today.
Well,
I don't know where
Early.
I don't know where I'm going.
We don't need to know.
We'd be stuck when we get there. And this, I would expect that Alabaster Tower has wards of its own, that only one of these things can let you do it.
Is there anything, sorry, how wide is this again, Kyle?
1.5
Foot and a half. It's pretty narrow. Is there anything around here that looks like thinking like if it was a lindel, that looks like it could be a door frame or something that you could set this on top of?
Go ahead and make an intelligence check.
Ooh, that's kind of cool. Good idea.
Like it's wherever you put it. That makes it a doorway. An intelligence check. My intelligence, I think, is a 2 now, which is better than it was
Mary, you look like you're
before.
thinking of something very important. I inspire you. Do that.
Okay, that is a 13 plus. Where the heck is my intelligence? I think it's a plus. Oh, it's a plus 3 now. 17 and is he 10?
Yep.
Well, I mean, I
Crack.
did say that part out loud.
Crack
Is there
code.
anything?
Yeah.
Plus 5.
You say 17 plus 5? 23? 22?
Yes, 22.
As everyone is kind of standing around focused on these two seemingly inert objects. Mary, you hold it in your hands, and as I've described, you can feel something is moving in there, but that's not what you're focused on right now. You look about the room and are looking for where would this fit in the room, like a key fitting into a lock. Where does this fit in to create a door? You look at the door, no good spot to fit over the actual door of this room. No other doors. But as you're kind of pacing around the room, you stop in the middle of it, and you look up where you entered into the room, and you can look up and see where the clock was. And you see Hondo stealing some shit. And you look about the room, and you immediately look back to the group, and past them, you can see the fireplace and the mantle above. You can see a space, central, doesn't seem to have anything on it. About the same width as this here piece of alabaster. And you, at this distance, you kind of hold it out and see if it were to fit on this mantelpiece over top of the open fireplace. Makes a nice little doorway.
Did anything ever sit up on this mantle? Like decorations or garland or anything?
Many things have over the years. I'm sure we've rested many drinks and assorted objects up there over time.
Can I look to see if there's I'm not going to put it on it there until we're all together, but I want to look and just look at where it would sit potentially on top of this fireplace. Is it tall? How tall was it? I guess I should ask that first.
How tall is
fireplace? The fireplace.
Where the
like,
mantle
would I be able to?
sits?
Yeah, like would I be able to like stand on my tiptoes and look at it, or is it higher than that? Or
It stands just about at eye level where this mantle is.
Okay. I just want to look at it, see if it looks like something should be sitting there, see if there's a little ridge where it would sit into.
As you go over with no check needed, using just your passive checks and the amassed kind of checks over time, you can see that it's very faint. There's just the thinnest drop. Just like a little ridge. You can kind of put your finger up and you can feel the tracing of a ridge about 1.5 feet wide, a couple inches deep, where this could rest.
Do it, Mary.
I don't want to get bamfed there.
I'll do it.
Because we need to sleep, is what I'm saying.
I'll do it. I can always
time...
teleport back, hopefully.
Well, I mean, let's just make what I'm saying is, at the very least, someone go get fucking Hondo. He's pocketing something over there. But we have to...
At this point, Hondo's making his way back down.
Okay, it's probably not important.
It's been 10 minutes.
Let's just make sure that we're all here, just in case. And then
Okay, you guys.
I'll
let's follow Mary.
Set it up on the thing. Who is the key, by the way?
I do, but I can give it to you if you want.
No, if you have it, that's okay.
You
just want to make sure we have it near.
In this building tension of a moment, you set the piece of alabaster down atop this little faintly ridged piece on the mantle above the fireplace. And it settles for a minute trying to find the right spot, and it just... And you watch as the seam of where this piece connects to the mantle almost just completely dissipates. It seems like a perfectly, like one piece. Like it never was apart. And right behind where the clock face would have been, you just see like two doors just and a keyhole emerges. Just
holy shit. Should we sleep before we do this? Do we put the key in now?
What time is it? It was dinner time when we got
It's
here.
almost dinner time.
I mean, it's been, at this point, you guys have done this for at least an hour.
I mean, we could go, but then we'd have to camp. We'd have to camp in the scary wizard tower. the smartest wizard of all time.
Yeah, last time we tried to break into a scary wizard tower, it was about this time, and I think we got out at like 3 a.m. So this would be like a 5 a.m. thing, I'd imagine, unless we have the key and everything's fine. I'm kind of doubting it though. I mean, at the same time, we don't have that many fucking days. How are you? I think Scott, you're the only one who's used spells.
Only used.
I'm gonna just say, just from in terms of your day, it's 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock. If this goes for more than a couple hours, you guys will be pushing into the time you should be resting, and would be risking. You can do it, obviously, but if you push too far, you will begin to risk having to stay up and push exhaustion.
Okay, I have an alternative. We can do this tomorrow morning, but we still need to use this time tonight. So, what if we use Damascus's super crazy knowledge now of what's in each of these books to try to learn about the City of Doors?
And she who must not be named?
Yeah.
Isn't it fascinating that there is a City of Doors and our boy Mordo was making the Tower of Doors? Don't you think there's got to be some sort of relation there?
I mean, he might have literally named it after the City of Doors. I feel like that's been around way longer than he has. So he thought, hey, this whole fucking city, fuck you, I don't need a whole city. I got my own Tower of Doors. Like, he seems like that kind of dude.
DM question?
Yeah.
No, sorry, you keep going.
That's it. Go ahead.
Ribcage was where the Lost Club, what was it called? The Lost Club? Club of the Lost, which was the Devil Casino. It was there, and then there was a portal to Ribcage there. Or sorry, there's a portal to the City of Doors there?
Portal to the Outlands. So you guys have been to the Outlands, and the Outlands is where Sigil sits. So think of the Outlands like a disc, like a full wheel disc. At its center is this massive spoke, and atop the massive spoke is a ringed city, an impossible city known as Sigil, City of Doors. Around the outskirts, on the outskirts of this disc, this wheel of the Outlands, exist gate towns to each of the outer planes. Each of these carry a portal that can move between the Outlands to these gate towns on the other side of each of the outer planes. You guys were in Avernus, the first layer of hell, found Ribcage, found the city had fallen essentially, but the portal still remained and was brought in and repurposed by Gurex, this pit fiend, and he was kind of lording over the fallen Ribcage, etc. You guys did adventure stuff. You went through this gate to Ribcage on the other side and into the Outlands, then ventured on from there. But you've never been to Sigil.
Correct. Was the otter and the hag
Ribcage.
On that Outlands part? Ribcage? Okay.
Yeah, they're on the Outlands side of Ribcage. Think of each of the gates having a town on like the border of the town. This is the hell side. This is the gate. This is the Outland side. So the town is this split in the middle by a gate.
Cool.
And on totally different planes of existence. The Outlands is this weird back door to everywhere.
Well, guys, Mary, you're a fucking genius. You figured this out. Why don't we have a quiet night, get our game plan ready to siege a magic tower and try and find some answers. But yeah, like you said, let's have Damascus. Let's give Damascus like a couple shots of Monster Energy. Not sponsored, but we're open to sponsorship, and see what he can find out.
Sure.
I mean, we have Furious as well. If that hasn't been used today. Think of something specific, whether it's this topic or whether it's the tower, and see if we can learn anything more about the tower before we get there. That's up to you.
As you guys have solved this area of the library, You have a keyhole and a lock, presumably, though no fully realized door just yet. It's the start of this, and you imagine it'll lead where you need to go. You begin to retire and pull back out of the library into more comfortable areas where you can converse and chat with Uth and with Damascus, though Uth makes a point of saying he will be retiring to bed shortly. If there's anything you want to ask Uth, now's the time. Damascus will be up with you guys for a little bit.
Imagining Hondo and Valentine telling the Kraken story as entertainment.
Mm-hmm.
Uth's hands are just, or his head is just in his hands. Damascus is just like cowering, like he's just like, I don't believe how you're alive the whole time. But it is nonetheless a thrilling retelling, to which Uth at the end just stands up and just like shakes his head, like not knowing what he's gotten you into and what you've gone out on. But if there are no questions for Uth, he will depart and go to bed.
I don't think I got any questions for him.
He's an old man. He's going to go take a little sleep.
I picture him with one of those Ebenezer Scrooge long hats.
He does. He's just wearing a nightgown. Nothing else.
Perfect.
I love this like ancient warrior, keeper of all knowledge, like spending his days making fruit salad, taking care of a little teenage owlbear, and
doing his time. Retirement.
Yeah.
It's nice.
good
Living a
life.
dream.
Yeah. Okay. Now Damascus
with like bottles of wine beginning to kind of get uncorked and opened and breathing. He has a couple, and it's just consistently just wants to ask questions and hear the rest of your adventures as heavily embellished as you will. He's just enthralled, and if you regale, but he is happy to answer any questions as well. So
I think we'd just ask if there was any information about, especially in that notebook where he was talking about portals and stuff, if there was anything about the City of Doors or Sigil.
Sigil.
He says, I got a pretty good look for most of the book. It seems that he had connections to the plane of Mechanus, Ribcage. He named somewhere that seemed significant called the Snowdrop Spire, Avalon. He had notes of Arendelle, but those seemed heavily scratched, so perhaps that was a no-go. There's a couple of notes of Sigil does come up. It seems he did a good portion of time spent in and out of Sigil with hopes of gaining access to a portal key. That seemed to be more like a quest of his own to get access to that. That seemed like it was a challenge to him, and it ends before he seemed to be successful or not. But it seemed to be like something he was focused on more than any of these other places.
Was getting that portal key. Yeah.
From what I've read about Mordenkainen, he was a bit of a plane hopper. A planeswalker. He had dealings on every world. Even his history is not. He's not Vesarian. He's not from here. There's no records of him as ever until he comes on the scene for the reckoning. I don't know how, but again, it just kind of seems to be, if anyone is to be, that kind of mysterious, that kind of guy, it's Mordenkainen.
Yeah.
Plane hopping and planeswalking seemed to be something that he was very intertwined with. Seemed to make frequent journeys to Sigil, to the Outlands, and he detailed traveling across the Outlands and hopping and skipping and jump. He moves from Ribcage onto Mount Celestia to Arcadia and home in time for dinner in the Abyss. It's all over the place.
We got to be careful Like he might have had a relationship with this woman we're going to speak to. Gotta be careful how we're eventually we're trying to meet up with the ruler of Sigil, it seems like. I legitimately forget her name. What was her name?
As you say that, Damascus says, "You look, you just told a great story of meeting with the Kraken and having a grand old time. You're not seriously suggesting having a luncheon with the Lady of Pain."
That's it, Lady of Pain. Yeah.
So you know her name. Wasn't that something that, correct me if I'm wrong, Kyle, is it just that like no one knows who the Lady of Pain, like Mephistopheles didn't know anything about her, or that like the name itself was?
The name itself carries significant weight. The knowledge behind, unknown.
Where did you hear that name?
Anyone who's heard of Sigil or the Outlands knows that the Lady of Pain is... No one knows if she's a god, a demon lord, an archdevil, or something older. She just has always been. As long as Sigil and as long as the plains. And even before. But her name is literally the Lady of Pain.
Mm-hmm.
Not someone I'd recommend going for a chit chat.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know anything else about her? Have you heard anything else? Do you remember where you first learned about this?
Hondo, what did you want to say? You seem pretty animated there.
This is ridiculous. We just stole things from a bloody Kraken and you're telling us not to go at this lady. I say, screw it. We're going to talk to this lady and we're going to get down to business.
Jeez.
I want to caution, but I know it falls on deaf ears. So I'm gonna look to the rest of Alana, please, for the love of the gods.
Well, okay. To be fair, from what we've heard,
can't talk about where the source comes from, by the way.
No. It seems,
sadder.
Just from thinking about it and what we were discussing, it seemed like this was gonna be the best.
Yeah, it's true. That's very true.
It's a stretch, but I think we had all come to the conclusion that somehow this was a good idea, and that's why we're doing it.
It wasn't the worst idea.
Yeah. But it wasn't the best.
There is no best.
There is no best.
No
it's
best.
The best of the worst.
Yes.
We think. We don't know.
Okay. Hey. I apologize, Honda. Far be it from me to snap judge the wild cards.
Of course.
Wild plans.
Yep.
But any sane person outside of present company, obviously, doesn't think about having a quick chat with the Lady of Pain regarding anything. The stories around her are legend. And like I say, some people theorize she was a lost god who somehow, as a vestige, found her way back. Some believe that she is one of the Tenari, one of the first who carved out the abyss. Some believe she's an apparition or an avatar of one of the other gods. She could just be a figment. But the path that she's carved for those who oppose her, with a look, people are flayed alive. The threat is real. That doesn't mean you can't find a way to make this happen for yourselves. But this is a tall order. So either if you're going to talk with her, Can't believe I'm even agreeing.
Mhm.
You better go with a good idea. Whatever it is you have to offer, whatever it is you want from her,
Yeah.
she better be willing to part with it, or whatever you have to offer in kind better be, she'll tell you what she wants. Now, here's the thing. She may tell you to do something you're not going to want to do. But when she tells you, you can't not do it. So whatever, you have to be prepared for, if this was the best of the worst, it's still the worst. Prepare for that.
Well, through all he reacts really quickly, and maybe that's just because he's heard lots of stories. Is he potentially reacting emotionally, or is he knowing more than he might be letting on?
Do you want to make an active check, or do you want to use your passive?
I mean, I'd make an active check.
Okay.
I'm actively looking for it, so I imagine that's an active check. I don't just get to use my passive, which is probably higher than what my.
No, I mean, you weren't involved in the conversation so much, so I would let you sit back and use that if you wanted to, but if you want to actively get it, you'll get more.
I'll roll.
Okay. Yeah, you should.
Rolling's fun.
Rolling's fun.
Ooh, okay. I never remember what my insight is anymore. 27?
Yeah. What you're getting is a slightly intoxicated Damascus.
That's true.
But he's genuinely just cares for you as friends and as people, and what you're telling him that you're about to do is wild. That's a crazy thing you just said you're gonna do. And he's he dove in you're joking, you're not joking. Okay. Then it became okay, well, let's talk this out.
Let's talk this shit out.
And just he's like a philosopher. He wants to talk about the world. I guess he's more of an anthropologist than a philosopher, but still.
Yeah, no, it's fine. I'm just suspicious as fuck of everyone, and I really like him, and I wanted to make sure.
Now, the best you can gather
nothing
is
weird going on there.
He knows about Sigil, and he knows about the Lady of Pain, but what he's told you hasn't been anything different than you've kind of already heard.
Yeah. He knows it because he knows the stories kind of thing.
Exactly. This is the guy who knows the stories of things. That's what he did with his life.
Yeah. Cool. Just making sure.
No, it doesn't read anything suspicious. Just concerned.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, to be fair, everything we've done in the last 2 months has been a bad idea. I don't think we ever.
Yeah.
Which is why I relent and tried to talk it out with you, because, I mean, regardless of what I say, you're going to go and do it anyways.
Mm-hmm.
When you say that she tells you, she tells you to do something, you do it, is that you do it or else, or you are now compelled to do that thing?
I don't know.
Cool.
Basically, from the stories, I've never, obviously, personally had any interaction. From the stories that I know, if the lady asks for something, it gets done.
Do you know anything about, the most we've heard is that neutral alignment, not on one side or the other of any, bigger crazy ass conflict. So it's not like whatever we do with our current conflict is going to bend her ear. I guess we need to try to figure out, to the larger group, we need to try to figure out what she wants, the kinds of things she is interested in, so we can go in with at least the semblance of an idea of what we have to offer, as opposed to just going in and trying to figure it out once we get there.
Right.
What if we give her a Zeus fate after we're done with it or something?
Here's the thing. the relics are enormous. The relics they're weapons of the gods, or items of the gods. They bear divine signature. But for a creature who exists outside of the planes, who rules of her own volition, what does she have for trinkets? What does she want for? In a world, Sigil is the city of doors. It's a mecca of trade. Anything and everything can be found there. Hondo, you're gonna fucking love it.
He's gonna kill us all there.
Don't steal. Oh, jeez.
Yeah,
Oh.
please.
I won't steal, but I'm sure I'll be able to get some good stuff.
I
will
truth,
haggle the hell out of that.
Oh,
you
God.
should. They will rip you off. You will stink like an outsider. They will rip you off. Don't let them. But don't steal.
No, but will they respond to physical threats if they don't give me a deal?
I mean, sure, as most people do who value their lives. Sorry, sidetracked. Okay, like I say, she is, to the stories that I know, she is to the level of divinity, of godhood. What would Bahamut want with a sword? What does Pelor need with a suit of armor? What would the Lady of Pain need with a staff? With a look, she pulls the skin from your bones.
Oh, God. Well, we're just going to have to figure out what she
and
wants.
shapes it of her own volition. Again, these are but stories. Maybe when you get there and it's all bullshit.
Yeah, she's really nice.
But maybe it's not.
It's less of a thing and more of a favor or a promise.
What if we're like, we'll leave you Hondo. He's chaos incarnate. He could be some sort of sexual slave. And put a chain on him, some sort of bikini top.
I mean, intriguing.
We kind of need Hondo, let's be honest.
Sorry, I should have said after we're done saving the world, then she could have him like that.
How dare you?
Think less material, for sure. I also think I don't want to ask what it is you need.
You shouldn't, and you really can't.
I don't want to know. I can't. You're right. I can't know. I don't want to know. Whatever it is you need, if you're going to that level, she's going to ask or require something of equal value. If it's rare or if it's challenging, she's going to ask you to do an impossible task. She's going to need you to provide something in kind. And it's not going to be, we'll get you back in a minute.
Okay. That's really good insight.
Sorry, it's a bit of a downer.
No, this whole like save the world thing's been not the happiest thing in the world. So it tracks.
It's something they don't necessarily tell you when you sign up to be a hero, that it fucking sucks.
Yeah, I know, right? But in the morning, we're going to the most powerful wizard in existence, Secret Tower. So it's all looking up.
First people to be there in nearly 500 years.
It's pretty cool. And the last.
Well, there is that. Look, I'm always here, and I'll answer anything you got. I'm a little spent myself. I know you guys have a big journey tomorrow, so it seems foolish for me to say, oh, I'm sleepy. But
we're sleepy too. I think we should head.
If you're about to head, as you say, to this kind of a place, you might need a little bit of rest. And Hondo needs his beauty sleep.
Yeah, when does that kick in?
Probably just before the shadow boxing.
All right. I don't know if there's anything to legend lore. Before I go to bed, just trying to think.
The only thing I can think of is if there's anything else about the tower itself, like that might give us a bit of a heads up when we go in there.
Why don't we try and do the Alabaster Tower?
Sure. Do you just do it in
I mean, we've heard a lot, but
with the group, or do you like hold that till you get back to your room?
I'll do it now so Damascus can hear about it. If you just
Sure.
want to wait a bit, Damascus, let's get one more story. I'll take out Aetherius, put it on the table.
He just he looks down at his glass and just continues sipping. As you slip into this visionary dream world, this kind of in between, where the kind of storyteller of like Tarathian Quill's voice leads you through from Aetherius. You drop into the field, as you always do in this in between. And as you call out for what? The Alabaster Tower, just straight up?
Yeah, Alabaster Tower, yep.
You say that before you drop in here. And as you close your eyes and you reopen within the field of dreams, the field is aflame. There's a faint, about 10-foot circle around you. You can see shadowy figures, arms out against the flames, kind of holding it back. And it's gone. And you're once again kind of drifting over cold ice, frigid land. And then blasted once more into this kind of alabaster hallway. And you can just kind of see the interior of an ornate looking hall. You can see windows that are like frosted and looking out onto kind of like a starscape. As Tarathian basically explains more or less what you already know. The Alabaster Tower is home to Mordenkainen and eventually to the Circle of Eight, this cabal of wizards of great and immense power, and ultimately served as their base of operations as a floating tower that seemed to travel across the realms, and for the most part is best known for its defense of Vesaria and Xander by drawing the forces of the dragon scourge Tiamat and her ilk away to the north before falling in battle. Unfortunately, there's not much more known and not much more you get.
Well, that's good. I'll just relay that. At least we know this is true from what former wielders of Aetherius know. All right, let's go to bed, and in the morning, let's get magic with it.
Okay. You all descend into rest. You can mark off a long rest on your sheets if you are using D&D Beyond. Thankfully, a quiet night's rest for all parties. And it is warm here for your evening's rest too, which is just a nice reprieve.
Do I recover my level 1 exhaustion?
At this point, you will. Anyone who had a point of exhaustion, Elena and Val, you guys had one from the Kraken fight, but it's now been plenty of time.
This is the chilly exhaustion.
Everyone is fully back to full. I believe Gord had accumulated as well. I don't think he had more than 1 point, so everyone should be. Pardon me.
Kitty doesn't like the cold. That's what we've learned.
No,
Gord don't like it.
Gord definitely doesn't.
As we're like going back to our rooms, I'll just kind of stop Gord and just kind of ask. Well, not even ask. Just kind of commiserate in that this is going to be a lot, and it's going to be a lot for you. you're gonna have to hold this thing at the end of the day. So we're here with you, but I feel like a lot of this is gonna end up on you.
I'm fine with that.
Okay. Get some sleep.
You're just so jovial now as Gord the White.
It's a little off-putting.
I love it.
Not gonna lie. I mean, I love it. Get some sleep. Just go to our respective little dorms.
Alana, do you want to bring Keith to the Alabaster Tower?
Do we think it's a good idea to bring Keith? I know I'm a cavalier, but I didn't realize years ago that it would have this much responsibility on me worrying about my sweet boy's life. I thought, cool, go. No.
Well, admittedly, you were fighting like trolls and shit when you started hanging out
in
with
the
Keith.
plains and shit. Yeah,
now, also, two things to think about. One, he could just have a play date with Teddy. That's not a bad option.
Not bad.
Two, you could, this is obviously metagamey, you can ride Fern and get a lot of the benefits from being because Val can fly on his own. So, like, if there's ever anything where you would get more out of being Cavalier, we have a mount that, we have a mount that if he dies, it's not a big deal. Didn't you, wait, Scott, you left Fern.
He's back now. No, I summoned him.
Okay.
Remember, I left him in Arendelle, you're right. But then I brought him with us for this one.
It also would
Now, is
be
that
easy to
okay?
hand wave the return.
Of course it would be okay. Fred loves you. Fred
Okay.
loves you.
I don't want to, if he doesn't want to, like, I don't want to force him.
No. He loves it.
Okay.
I would worry in a small space. It could be tough for Keith to climb a tower. I mean, it's probably not going to be super small, but I just worry about our sweet boy.
Not gonna lie, if I didn't have that potion to shrink him small when we were with the Kraken, like, he would have been gone. So
You looked real scared during that fight. There was a lot going on.
Yeah. Okay. Well, maybe he'll be okay with Teddy. We'll have fun. He won't even realize we're gone.
Uth has so much salad that he can feed Teddy, so it'll be great.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll leave him here then.
Okay.
A goat is going to eat him out of house and home.
Hondo, did you bring home anyone last night? Are they coming with us, or
There will be no one coming today.
Please don't bring your dates to the Platinum Sanctuary, the super secret safe place that like barely anyone knows about. I mean, it's weird enough for you to bring them into our house.
I don't think it's weird.
We don't know who these women are, but I mean, at least you have your own room. I feel being here is still fucking weird, right? Like, looking around, like, this place still doesn't feel real.
I think it needs like a humidifier or something. It's just very dry. Then I think it'd be perfect.
I'm just gonna throw it out there that Utkadar has offered many times. If I ever felt lonely, he would send someone over. He has contacts.
That's kind.
Honestly, I feel like this man has not left this place in like
because people come here.
Years.
People come to him. Mary, we all have urges.
Just I don't want to think about it. I'm going to my room.
It's the morning now. Knock, knock, knock.
Everyone's up. Everyone's there.
Mary, from our conversation last night about urges, I just don't want Hondo to feel shame about his tendencies, whatever he desires. This is a kink-free zone.
Never, ever.
Okay, great. As long as we're all on the same page.
I respect it, though. Yeah.
We all respect each other.
Absolutely.
As you all have this conversation, as you're like just entering into the library, Uth and Damascus are already within, both kind of sitting, and you can see a tea pot and some cups, and they're sitting at the fire, just kind of waiting in quiet conversation as you enter.
Anything interesting that I can see? Because this feat is useless at high level. I will use it. As soon
as you guys enter, they stop talking.
God damn it. This This is very
Humor
cool
cuts to their
for,
mouths.
for being
Yeah.
low level. It's great. Once you're high level, it tends to not matter anymore. So I will use it anytime we enter a room.
That's all good.
I guess you would catch the tail end of Damascus saying basically that you guys are crazy, but that's nothing that you are not surprised about.
Yeah, that's not new information.
It's not gossip to us.
I'll walk up to like the lid of the pot, lift up the lid and smell and go, oh, was that jasmine or is it rooibos?
Uth says, actually, it's a special blend of Sylvanas' making. In truth, I have no idea, but it tastes delicious.
Ah. And then she'll put the lid down and walk back, but just to kind of add to that, they think we're crazy.
Yeah, who knew? Who knew Riley was
Sylvanas
obsessed
had
with tea?
left 300 years worth of tea somewhere.
A lot
Well,
of
he has
bags.
a garden.
Oh, no, that's fair.
Oh,
That's
true.
I did picture a lot of leaves, a lot of little tea bags just in some cellar.
Just like a room full
That's
of
not
tea.
tea. Uth has been
That's
just
something
hotbox
else.
in this fucking
Yeah.
place.
Don't go in there. Well, gang, you ready? I'm gonna put this key in, and we're gonna see what happens.
Damascus and Uth stand, and they begin kind of pulling the chairs away from in front of the hearth and the table.
I'll lean over to Alana if nothing happens after all this build up. I'm gonna fucking lose my mind.
I'll join you.
Take the key out, start moving it towards the little lock. Slide in the keyhole.
As you get just before the key hits the first kind of tumbler that it would go into, that energy that you felt yesterday, you can feel it catch now that the lock is open and the key is about to touch where it's supposed to connect to. And as it is inserted fully, the key, you turn the key, you can feel it connect, and you can feel an arcane kind of reaction that you just feel is almost the same as using a magic item. There's a response. You turn it. Immediately as you turn the key, there is of energy. The fire is immediately dispersed, and this pulse kind of rushes out from the hearth, and immediately the the mantle from beneath this clock piece, this apparition wall drops, and it just cascades and filters, and then there's a door of the same kind of alabaster white. It's at the fringes, and Valid being so close, you can hear a brisk wind beyond. And all along the lower fringes and all of the edges, you can see this long encrusted frost that's built up around the door.
We put on your winter coats here, guys. You ready?
I'm good.
I'll hold Brawley's hand and then start walking forward.
As you and everyone else makes their way through, you hear just quietly from behind, with Kadar, good luck in their wild cards. No privy.
What did he say? I was going through.
Everyone goes through, and it feels very much like the same experience of teleporting or plane shifting, that same twist and turn in your stomach. However, on this time, it's like when you've dropped into hell, into Cania before, this immediate blast of cold winter air. On the other side of the door, you stand within a circular room, around which you can see rises 3 stories. But the entire room is somewhat at an angle. This door nestled down, and you can see this floor kind of rises up at a bit of an angle up to another hall that seems to extend away into some darkness. everything is ever so slightly shifted, only like 10-15 degrees, nothing drastic, but enough that it's noticeable. As you all begin to kind of file in and try and pull yourselves up on this odd angle, you can see that this tower rises about 3 stories, as I said, has a roof, it closes off, but in the walls of the circular stone, you can see 9 archways, including the one that you passed through. Some appear vacant, as if there's an archway and then just flat stone within. Some still bear similar doorways of alabaster. At their fringes, elements of the elements from wherever they lead on to. Seems that you've made it to the Tower of Doors.
What's on the door behind it? Like, what's around the door we just came through?
And do we get the key back after going through? How does that work?
As you pass through, Val, you can feel the key is already in your hand.
Cool.
Looking at the door behind you, Mary, immediately it's just like a white alabaster door. Like there's no passage. Once you pass through, it seems to end, whatever that does. Atop it, though, it does say Sanctuary in common. Like a plaque.
Are there any plaques on any of the other doors?
Yeah, you can see, though at a distance, you can see these faint plaques around all. Go ahead and make a perception check.
Cool.
It was not very good. Where the heck is Beyond?
Do you get to take a +10 on those?
No, I'm not like Hondo.
Shit.
I am not as big of a rogue as Hondo is.
The rogue
14.
Rogue.
14?
Yeah.
It's difficult because immediately this like cold sensation of bitter cold and this like seeming wind that seems to be kind of getting through the very faint cracks that you can see are all around this tower. Cracks that you can see in some cases have broken through these doorways and archways, specifically the ones that are inert. But looking at the plaques, immediately you can see that this one, as I said, in common says Sanctuary. You do see on this same kind of first level, directly across the way, you see one that says Snowdrop in Elvish, which you can read. But its doorway seems to be broken and inert. And to the left of this, there's like 3 doorways on each of these like levels. And on the last one on this level, you can read says, it says also in Elvish, Avalon.
So cool. Back to Castle Avalon. Does that one work? It looks like it works.
It doesn't seem cracked. It seems like there's a doorway.
Oh,
Do you know what Snowdrop references? I can't remember ever hearing that before.
I don't think I've heard it. Someplace that is Elvish in nature.
Unfortunately, given that perception check, you can't see the upper 6.
No, it's fine. I mean, that's super far away. It's really fucking cold. I don't know why, but I thought like a magic wizardy tower would have like central heating.
It does. We have to turn it on. You think he left it on for 500 years? The bill would be through the roof. We just have to like...
You clap and it just kind of echoes.
Clap on, clap off heating. Find the motion sensor. Wave in front of it. That's what my cat does when he wants the heat on. So there's only these doors. Is there a staircase?
From what you can see, as I said, the tower's kind of on this faint angle. There's one hallway on the upper side, on like the upside of the angle that seems to extend out and away, and you can't quite make out what's beyond. This is dark.
Hondo, we're in like a another super spooky wizard tower. Do you want to like maybe stick out ahead and make sure that there's not any traps, magical or otherwise, throughout this journey?
I will do it, but beware, I will also steal whatever I find.
But keep in mind, like, there's specific things we're looking for here. So let's, like, if we're going to pocket anything, let's, one, make sure the shit's not cursed. Because this dude seems like he's the kind of guy who would have the ego of being like, I could fix that. And then taking it and hiding it in this tower. So make sure you're not picking up any cursed shit. Yeah, no, you say that, but it's happened before.
Of course.
Two, like, maybe if anything's weird, tell us about it. Don't just like pocket it secretly, because it might be a key in a later puzzle that we need, because we all know we are not very good at these wizard tower puzzle things.
But I will also claim ownership on everything we find.
Sure. After the fact. You did, like, I don't know if we should send him alone, though, because remember the last time he, like, just fell for a mirror and then ended up in, like, the city of brass and hell, and we had to go rescue him?
Right. Actually, yeah, that definitely seems like something he would do.
I have
Let's stay as a...
Yeah, well, that doesn't work when you're in hell.
Let's stay as a group, but Hondo, you are, like, 10 feet ahead of us, just checking stuff out, looking for traps and stuff. Cool. Hondo, as well, there's a bunch of doors. That one's in Elvish. If there's... want to look at the other doors and they speak a different language, you could always use your comprehend languages ring.
I have my
there are 6 doors that are up on a level above, but there's no stairs. They're like 10 feet up, just like set into the wall. Like there's no second floor, no third floor, but the tower, if you think of it just straight up, it's like 10-15 feet of circular tower, 10-15 feet circular, and it just kind of stacks up, one tube open, and then one hallway off.
Feel slightly stupid for a moment and just try and think about, like, this worked when we were in the astral, and like, does gravity work like we are in the astral? And
just
for
look
like
at Mary
second,
trying to fly, just trying to see if she can fly. Can she fly?
You think fly?
However, it worked in the Astral Sea, because that's the only reference she has, and she feels really dumb about it while trying.
As everyone kind of begins spreading out away from the door, and Hondo, you begin making your way across and up towards like this hallway to check for traps and things. Mary, you just kind of begin to kind of lift and trip.
Yeah,
landing with full gravity. As why would that exist here? That doesn't make any sense.
I don't know. I'm sure this dude could
that.
fly himself, but she had to fucking try. She doesn't know how magic works. I'm very curious. I want to see what the rest of that shit is. Fern's here, right?
Mm-hmm. Fern would have followed through.
Yeah, who wants to take? Well, Hondo can read anything. Who wants to take Hondo up? And I'm just curious to see, which one of these doors is potentially going to take us to the place that we want to go, and let's make sure that it's not broken like that one is.
I'll jump out. I'll hop on Fern and reach out my hand to Hondo. You want to go to the second floor, Hondo? See if you can read these doors?
I'm ready to investigate stuff.
Hondo, you cast through your ring comprehend languages.
Mm-hmm.
That makes this a lot easier. Without the need to make a perception check at this distance, Valentine's just going to fly you past them, and they are steins that you can read with no issues with this spell. So the first floor is Sanctuary, Avalon, and Snowdrop, I said?
That's what you said earlier, yeah.
Elvish, and Common for Sanctuary. At the second floor, you see one say Sapphire, that is broken. One say Mechanus, that is also broken.
Okay.
One says Ribcage, also broken.
Jesus.
The third floor, however, gets you 2 working doors and 1 final broken door. The broken, in common, so Val, you can catch this as well. It says Whitethorn.
Wow.
Though it is broken. The final two that are working, you read Mythandor on one and Guildhall Ward on the other.
Guildhall Ward? Why does Mythandor sound familiar?
Mythandor sounds familiar because that is one of the two places of the Noldor Enclave in the south of the Vale.
We don't want to go there. The Vale went to shit, I thought.
Yeah, but it might be a really good way to get a bunch of other people there very fast if we need to. I'm not there.
You know.
Kyle, is this Sapphire? Sapphire Academy is a thing, right?
Hmm?
That's where Damascus worked?
Hmm?
Cool.
What about, does Guildhall Ward ring any bells for me?
It's pretty generic of a name, honestly. Like Guildhall Ward, you could imagine in almost any industrious city. Like there easily could be one in Haverfeld.
What language is it in?
Yeah, great question.
That's the key. The language of Guildhall Ward is it's the right word. It is a language that Value can't place. It doesn't fit anything that you know, recognize, and it only vaguely is using almost draconic like text, but it's not draconic. But Hondo, thanks to your spell, you can read Guildhall Ward in a tongue older than any that currently exists.
Ooh. Guildhall Word, but it's a very old draconic tongue.
Jeez. I wonder where that one leads to.
I think we take that because it's old. There's definitely shit there.
Yeah, we should at one point eventually check it out, but we got to find this staff before we go anywhere else.
Well, wouldn't the staff be where somewhere is old?
I think it would be in this tower. These, I think, are transporting to other planes.
Okay. Let's see what other doors lie ahead.
I think that's all for the doors, but how about...
That's all for the doors. It's the full tower. There's nothing else of interest in this space, with the exception of one hallway that leads up and away, and you haven't
perused it
just yet.
Let's go check out that hallway.
Okay.
I'll fly us back down.
Hondo, you were planning to check for traps?
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead and make an investigation check. There you go. There's those rolls.
And 11, so 18 and 11 is 39. 29.
29. Very quickly, you gather that there's nothing on the floor. There's no weird sigils. There's no tripwires. There's nothing. And your previous experience in rooting out these kinds of traps in the College of Whitethorn in this experience, you know now to look for certain like sigils, etchings, and like almost invisible signs of magic. Thankfully, you see none. However, with that check, you get a couple other things. One, the tower is at this odd angle, and where the hallway extends and where the tower sits, it's like broken almost. It's not fully cracked and broken away, but it is sitting at an angle that it doesn't look whole. And the same with the cracks in all of the walls. It's not sitting right. And that gets you immediately, and you can feel like this gust of wind is coming through. It's not like a huge, it's not even a crack wide enough to get like a finger through. You could maybe wedge a very thin dagger, but you're not seeing anything outside except for some faint white light coming through. And the hallway is easy to quickly look through and see that there are no traps, because the hallway is only 10 feet in length. From the end of where the tower sits to the end of this hall is only 10 feet, and it ends at a stone wall. just a flat stone wall, no door, no anything, with the exception of a handful of words written across the wall in what seems like etched, like gold filigree. In Hondo, you can read in your many tongues, I am perfect, impossible, permanent, and guaranteed. What am I?
It's a riddle.
That's all you see.
Sorry, I was just writing it down. I am perfect, impossible, permanent, and guaranteed.
Death.
That's what I was thinking.
Or life, too, I guess. Birth.
It's not
As
guaranteed.
everyone begins gathering around to suss out the riddle. I guess Valentine is with you, but Val's not currently here. But Val cannot read this, and as everyone else begins to gather, you can't read the tongue.
Do you know what language it is? Sorry, did I miss that?
It seems to actually kind of be along the same language as that other Guildhall ward language, this old, almost dead language. Actually, for the most part, it is a dead language, but it seems to have given root to other languages, almost using a draconic script. Thankfully, Hondo, you have the ability to read all languages, so you are able to suss out the common translation.
Okay.
2, I am perfect, impossible, permanent, and guaranteed. What am I?
What, and also, how would we just like yell out the answer and hope something happens? Is that?
Well, one way to
No, I'd
find out.
imagine it'd have to be in that language. I'd imagine. Perfect, impossible. Get down, cat. Allie, you got this last time. Last time we were stuck in a hallway for half an hour.
Yeah. Yeah, I was either gonna say life or death.
Time.
Or time.
I like Brock's answer.
Oh, God.
I'm not falling for this again.
Kyle just incorporates this whole movie as Tenet now. Everything's gonna have to go backwards. Or movie, this whole campaign.
No.
Gonna have to play the whole campaign backwards.
We go back
now.
to level 1? Fuck me. God damn it.
We did
God, I'm not
that
sure if
movie,
you heard
maybe I
that.
would.
I didn't hear any of that.
1 second, I'll type it in the chat. It was a riddle.
Oh, a riddle? Great.
So the tower ends, it's, the tower is maybe 20 foot in radius, so 40-foot diameter in these circles of tower. That hallway extended only about 10 feet off of that and ends in a flat wall. And in that same dead tongue that Hondo translated of the Guildhall ward, that same tongue reads, I am perfect, impossible, permanent, and guaranteed. What am I? None of you can read that language.
Okay.
Hondo, thankfully, can translate and did so.
His Hondo's ring, can I just confirm? He has a ring of tongues, right? It's not just
He can do both.
okay.
But yeah, he has tongues, he has comprehend languages. Val has tongues. You guys have ways to read and speak.
Would it be time?
Yeah, so far what we've come up with time, life, death.
I am
Okay, well, while you guys talk, I'm gonna use that.
Okay. I am perfect, impossible, permanent, and guaranteed.
I'll start
See,
the clock for the listener on how long this one takes us.
Yeah.
Our record is 3 hours. So
We have to say
let's
this
listen,
down.
let's listen to Brawley. Whatever Ali says is probably it in the first 10 minutes.
Because the only reason why I wouldn't say life or time or death is because they're not perfect and they're not guaranteed. Like
permanent.
death is.
That's
Yeah.
not permanent. The only other thing is to
Yeah.
remember, this is a la the Doctor Strange conversation we had earlier. This is a man who has a giant ego, who thinks that he can fix and break and like change everything, right? This is his tower. So he thinks he's better potentially than things like time and death. Like we know his staff can change time. I'm thinking it's
Tim. I'm gonna take Rosie out. Sorry, one sec.
Yep.
Keep figuring it out though.
So Tim. Is
No, I'm just saying, like, when we're thinking of what it is, he might not see death as permanent. He might not see time as something that's guaranteed. You know what I mean? Like, we have to think that way of what is like a super. Scott's probably going to cut this part all out. You had an idea?
Maybe not. Like, something of like, like infinite universe, like
infinity,
yeah. Where like it goes within itself, right? It's impossible because it just continues. It's guaranteed because it's just gonna continue. It's perfect because it's a perfect loop that just continues, and it's permanent because it just.
That's a cool thought. Something,
but I don't know how to translate. Yeah, I wouldn't.
Yeah, I don't know if like infinity is the right word, but that idea.
The universe.
Like, possibility, the universe, something
Genesis.
Like that.
Yeah.
Genesis. Phil Collins. That's it.
Hope you're enjoying this week's episode. If you like what we're doing here, check out the other videos on our YouTube channel, including D&D tips, discussions, recaps, character interviews, and more. You can find us on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok at Hexplorers DnD, or join us in the live chat when new episodes premiere on YouTube each Tuesday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. Thanks for watching. Now back to the episode. It's fun putting a riddle out when I know the answer.
Yeah. Did you make this one up or did you find it?
I think I made this up, but I probably also pilfered it from somewhere. Like,
those are the best ones.
Is this on a door?
So it's just on a wall. Like the hallway extends and then just ends.
We're gonna figure this out, and it's just gonna be like an aspirational quote. Like it's not gonna mean anything. Like it's like the equivalent of having like a live, laugh, love sign.
It'll be like friendship.
Yeah.
Mondays.
Yeah.
All right, we're back. And we're back.
So, I am perfect, impossible, permanent, and guaranteed. What am I?
Some thoughts we've had are is time, circle, infinity. So let's start doing some of these.
I'll just start saying them in the tongue.
Hondo, you begin just uttering, and I guess tongues makes it sound normal to everyone who hears.
Anyone can understand. Yeah.
So, Hondo, mark off that you've used 2 casts of your ring, which I believe has like a number of charges per day. If you want to just check the specifics, you can easily do this, but I just wanted to make sure you're marking those off. So, Hondo, you begin saying time. What are the other ones? Circle, infinity.
Infinity, yeah.
Universe.
That life and death is what you were saying earlier, Kevin.
Yeah, universe, man.
Time.
You say life, death, time, universe, circles. Just a wall.
Where's the ring? Sorry,
the ring should be in your inventory.
Can I go up to the wall and just put my hand on it? Feels like stone.
Feels cold.
Cold?
Very cold.
Excuse the squeaking. Rosie's found a toy.
The wall also squeaks weirdly.
Oh, weird. As soon as you put your hand
very
on it.
squeaky floorboards. No one's been on there for years.
It's stone, Mary. Come on.
I am aware it was
impossible.
like the end. Something ending.
Maybe taxes. Taxation.
It's not impossible. Nothing?
Nothing is perfect. Nothing is impossible. Nothing is permanent. Nothing is guaranteed. That's kind of cool. Let's try that. Oh, no, say nothing.
All right, nothing. Nothing.
As you say nothing, the wall dissolves before you. Just
Oh,
fades
yeah.
away.
That took so much less time than last time.
Very
Immediately,
God.
a torrent of snow falls in and fills the cavity in about 10 feet. And beyond, you just see a broken Arctic landscape.
God damn, we found the front door. This is not where we wanted to go.
Wow.
Came in through the back door.
Super bright.
It's very, very bright. You guys staying inside? You exiting? What are you doing?
No, this is fucking freezing. Unless
I wanna go out with
peek
Fern
your
and
head
just,
out.
Yeah, look at what this tower looks like from the outside.
Sure. Go ahead and make a perception check.
Got it. Just like a moment of appreciation for a riddle and a riddle solver. That was great. Come on, D&D Beyond, what you got for me? It's a nat one.
It is.
God.
You're not wearing your glasses,
Oh
unfortunately.
no.
And that
Oh,
sunlight
God.
sensitivity burns. It singes at your corneas, and you're like blinded literally for like a minute. And you just pull
Fern,
back
bring
into
us
the
back
tower.
inside. Fern, bring us back inside.
He just heads back inside.
Sorry, I didn't get a good look. I forgot to wear my glasses outside.
It's like the brightest white.
Oh man. Does someone just want to look and see if this thing has crashed into the snow and that's why it's on an angle?
Who has cold resistance? Kevin, you do, right?
Who is Kevin?
I'm talking out of game.
I
Out
can
of
take a
game.
look.
Who has cold resistance? Because I don't.
This
I
is all
don't. I
good
get
then.
cold very easily.
Hondo has
I am-
cold resistance.
I will do it.
Okay, Hondo, go ahead and make a perception check for me. As you exit the tower, it's blinding for but a moment.
Man, that was a 5 for the listener. If we were to total your
Um,
rolls, it's just
and
5, 3,
The
5.
perception's full circle, so
Becomes a 10.
10 and 12, 22.
Thanks.
Excellent. So you exit the tower, and it does blind you for just a hot moment, but you're able to kind of push past that, and you turn your back to the expanse that's immediately beyond, and you stumble through a little bit of snow. And it comes up to about your knee, actually, as you kind of step away from this. And you kind of look around, you carve out a little bit of space, and you look back at this tower, and this turret of a tower that is seemingly broken away from the main structure. You can see cracks and breaks, and you can see almost like you can see a gouge that has been since filled in, long filled in, but frozen over and then fallen in, frozen over and fallen in, where it fell and settled at this odd canted angle in snow and ice. You just see massive expanses of snow, ice in all directions, large drifts, mounds, jagged ice breaking up otherwise barren Arctic terrain. However, as you stand out here, unperturbed by the frigid temperatures, you can see that something catches your eye in the distance. Within the snow, within this light, you can see like the light kind of catching on something. Maybe something is giving off light. It's really difficult to make out. But there's something in this direction by about 300 feet or so within one of these like large mounds of ice and snow, these like drifts. You can see something is either catching light, creating light, signaling you maybe.
I'm going to go to it.
It's about 300 feet.
I'll run.
Okay.
Can they
Fucking
see?
runs.
Can everyone see me in the?
I'm fucking
Tower?
blind.
Not from this point. Basically, the hallway kind of rises up like this, and then you drop out and you be on this level. So if you just started going, eventually someone probably comes to check on you. But
Do
I'm
you
gonna-
tell us before you go, or you
Yeah.
just run?
No, I just go.
okay, great.
And but before like maybe within 50 feet or so, I'll do an investigation just to make sure I'm not like once I'm a bit closer, I need to do an investigation check.
You'll need to get you'll need to get a lot closer to make a good investigation check.
Okay, 20.
But what I will say that as you start dashing across this snow and ice terrain at about 300 feet, it doesn't take you very long. I think that's How fast can you move? You can move that in easily in under a minute.
Yeah.
And you just begin tearing ass towards this space. Go ahead and make your investigation check. Okay.
But
Still single digits.
but investigation is automatic 10, so 11 and 10, 21.
It was a 7 for the listener.
No
Out of
other
the-
rogue has gotten this much use out of this
Reliable.
feature.
I know.
Like right
Oh
at the
my God.
beginning of him getting it.
Yeah, now's the time. So about 20 feet out, as you just sprinted across ice and snow, you can tell that beneath, like this mound is about to rise. Like think of it almost like a sand dune is about to rise up. You're about to go up the incline, but it's all snow. You can see that on this incline, there's a break within the snow and ice, and you can see that beneath about 5, maybe 10 feet of snow and ice, you can see this flickering light. You creep a little bit closer, and you get about 10 feet away, just to try and get a little better look. It's difficult to see through. There's like this energy constantly in motion beneath. And you get about 5 feet close. And there's like, you can see like almost like a crack, like you're looking through a fissure. You can see that there are shapes moving beneath rapidly, like there for a fraction of a second, then gone, then new, then gone, then new, then these, and that, and this, and it's just constant static movement perpetually. And then it all dies away. And there's nothing. But there's still this kind of sheen of energy. And then it kicks back up, and there's just so much stuff. A flurry of activity. And you can see that this energy, whatever it may be, expands beneath this mound of snow and ice. What do you do?
Okay, so it doesn't appear to be a physical object, and it's in the ground.
It rises up over the ground, like the mound. If this is your ground terrain that you're standing on, the mound rises up like a hill.
Okay.
So it technically rises above, but maybe by like 20 feet, 25 maybe.
So, I'm going to try the pearl. I'll message to everyone and say, I found some energy and I'm going into it.
Did you guys hear that, bro? What was that? What
Walk
did he say?
into energy. Hondo, how many times has this worked out for you?
You
Yeah,
get
the last time
hear-
you walked in.
You hear one of those responses before. What do you do?
So am I gonna walk into this? I'm going to as a test to see if anything happens with it. I'm gonna make a snowball and I'm gonna throw it at it and see if anything happens.
Love
Sure.
this.
Or an ice ball or something like that.
Love it.
Quickly, as the rest of those messages begin filtering through, make a quick ice ball, spin it in hand. You throw it dead on, and it just splatters against it.
So it's a solid object, it appears.
Yeah, it definitely had permanence. So it's something it impacted.
One more thing I'm going to try. I'm going to throw one of my regular daggers at it.
Sure.
So I go.
Perfect aim. You're a sharpshooter. No damage needed. It does not impact. It passes through.
Ooh. So I'll message back. It could be a portal. And one more thing I'm going to do gust of wind. Clear the area, see if there's any more stuff around it.
Yeah, I'd say gust of wind could aid this. As you get under the lip of like where this sheet of ice has broken away in this kind of gap. You, from an angle, begin funneling and focusing your gust of wind, this magical force, and it begins kind of lifting beneath the amassed kind of crusted ice and snow. With the full length of gust of wind, I'd say you're able to clear a good 20-foot swath of snow and ice, and it is the same energy across that whole space. You're able to see now this 20-foot wide, just cacophony of static energy, this faint blue, but within that same flurry of activity. Like, it's impossible to make out.
Do you want us to come visit you, or you want to just die alone?
Here's what's gonna happen. We're going to go in. We're going in.
We're okay.
You should come here just to see what happens. Right now, there's nothing here to scare you or do anything to you. It's all safe. Just come and see this mound.
Okay, yeah, let's go see the mound.
Don't forget your fucking glasses.
Yeah, great idea. Put my glasses on.
Swap the glasses out. As everyone begins to exit out of the hall and out of the tower here, you look back, and indeed that this tower has broken away from the main structure.
Mm-hmm.
But at a distance, at this 300-foot distance, now that Hondo has cleared away 20 feet of this, you can see a very obvious energy field of some kind. It's kind of glowing and silhouetting Hondo, but you're easily able to make your way across. It's bitterly cold.
Does it remind us of the field that Carval put up inside Orcus's skull, Tenebris's skull?
No, it is not rainbow in hue.
Yeah,
it doesn't. And as you get closer, it is a lot more active. There's like a flurry of movement within and beneath, and then a different element of like this kind of static that is like ingrained in it. The prismatic like wall was a pure like rainbow colored field. This also is much bigger.
Wow. Any remains of the tower around this, or this just encompasses this big dome?
From your passives collectively, this has been sitting here for several hundred years. Anything is buried beneath snow.
Yeah,
and ice.
that's a good point.
But you would imagine that something is within this dome. Easily takes up 40-foot radius. It's big.
Hondo, do you want to do anything before we get to you, or do you want to wait?
It won't take long. It'd be only a couple of rounds for you guys to make.
I'll wait for them. I'll wait.
It's not very far.
Jesus, you weren't kidding. This is interesting. Have you put your hand through it at all?
I've not touched it. I've thrown a dagger at it. It went through it. I threw snow at it, and it just bounced off of it. So I don't know. It seems to be some kind of portal.
Well, either that or it could be like, I don't know, some kind of protection, like a shield, something to cover
It let my
up.
dagger through it though, so it can't be protecting it well.
Kyle, did you say that it's like it's
material.
there and then it's not? It's like on and off.
The visual that Hondo could see had a crazy flurry of activity, and then it died down. The visual within, but it's always got this static, like energy to it. It's never dissipated. There was just something within that he saw a ton of, then nothing for a long time, then a ton of, then nothing. Like.
We could have Fern put his head in. He could telepathically tell me what he sees if it hurts him. Could be our little test guinea pig.
Fern?
Fern, yeah.
All right, let's send them in. I like that idea 100%. Fern.
Okay. Fern just glares at Hondo, just stares at him.
Okay. What does Fern do?
I'll
Like
dismount Fern. Yeah, he'll just like walk up to it, sniff it, and then that's a good idea. He'll like try and put his wingtip into it.
Sure.
Oh boy.
Oh, a fuck ton of damage is coming his way.
As Fern just slips the wing, and there's no resistance. His wing just begins to slip in. Those of you who are closest, Fern immediately begins to pull out and back away as he takes 23 points of damage.
Whoa.
And you watch
Wingtip.
where his wingtip is, like the extent out. You watch as he pulls away, the feathers begin to wilt away, and it just becomes blackened, then gray, then bone.
Oh.
As it just rapidly deteriorates and falls away.
I remember when you said, "Hey, I'm just
You
gonna
wanted to
run
rush
into that
into
thing."
this shit.
Hey, you never know. Maybe it didn't like Fern. Maybe I would have been okay. You know, we still don't know what it is.
Fern
Why don't
just
we
kind
do
of whimpers, kicks Snow at Hondo, and then kind of circles around behind Valentine, like nursing
I'm
his
sorry,
one
buddy.
wing.
Oh, I'm so sorry, buddy.
So we don't go into this thing, but there must be something else around here it's protecting.
Could I do, or unless Kevin already did this, like a perimeter, try to establish, even just like dragging foot in the snow to mark exactly how far this thing goes in each direction?
Yeah, you and someone else could absolutely do that. While I ask Valentine, Hondo, and Gord to go ahead and make Arcana checks for me.
Sure.
So if Allie and Mary, you guys want to do like a perimeter, it would take you guys a little bit of time, but you would able to gauge. It's at least 80 feet across, maybe bigger. It's hard to get a perfect. Pardon me.
311.
I'm
Say
going to
again?
use my. You go, Hondo.
Oh, 11. 8 and 3.
I'm going to use Peerless Skill just to really pump this baby up.
Okay.
So I rolled
Brock roll?
Yeah, Brock, if you're back now,
Yeah, I got 11.
11 as well. Okay.
So I had 19 total before my Peerless Skill. So now using a Bardic, I have 27.
Wow,
I rolled
okay.
an 8.
Yeah, Gordon Hondo, it's definitely powerful magic, very obviously so, and beyond anything that either of you have encountered, and you don't fully grasp or understand. Val, you get a better idea. Watching the effect on Fern's wing, it didn't seem acidic, like it burned that away, or elemental even in nature. Didn't even seem necrotic. It looked like the element of his wing rapidly was forcibly aged and died.
It's fucking time. It's a fucking time thing. Time is going insanely fast inside there. Or something is happening time-wise inside there.
That'd be a good assumption.
What was that, Hondo?
We can't go into it.
You could try and find a way to turn it off.
I'm not there.
What if we bury it?
Here's funny. Bury this 40-foot dome we just found in the fucking middle
It
of
was
the snow.
buried. You unburied it.
Oh, that's true. Damn it.
We know a Zeus Fate plays with time. Like a Zeus Fate could be in there. Mary, did you do your perimeter?
Yeah, passes. We're back by now.
It's
I just
roughly
wanted to.
80 to 100 feet in diameter.
I just wanted to
spherical.
shuffle feet all the way around it so that no one accidentally walks into it. Like we have a very clear. I mean, is this something the key could? I don't know. If it's anything like, formerly Raymond's tower, his ring was the key to everything. I don't know if this key is just to get us here.
Do we feel confident we fully explored that tower? The Tower of Doors?
Yeah, there's without going through one of the doors, there's nothing more to see.
And you said it was like the top level that was like busted off or something and it rested.
No.
Oh, I thought you said something about it being broken off.
No, some of the doors were broken, but the roof itself
I
is
understand.
closed. It's just nothing of interest.
So there's 2 towers?
It broke off. Unless you're talking about the movie. Then there was
No.
2 towers.
Yeah, there was. Great fight scene. This is out of my realm, guys. I don't know.
I think we need to keep exploring.
Does it look like we're standing on ice, Kyle? Like this could potentially go beneath the ice?
Sure.
If it's
Possibly.
a big sphere or if it's a big dome, like it continues beneath us?
Yeah, from what you can tell, the upper half, like this is not a full sphere. If it's a sphere, it seems spherical. You'd say about half of it to its apex is above. Could mean equally as much as below.
Could be an iceberg.
Yeah.
Can we look around and see if we can find, like, let's scout around this dome, see if there's any more signs of the tower, like broken up parts of the tower. If there is, like maybe we have to clear some ice and get down into it from there.
Sure. You guys want to take some time to do a little investigating?
Let's do it.
Whoever wants to helm that, go ahead and make investigation.
If one of you wants to do that, I could take the decanter out and try and make another ice igloo.
Isn't
that
that
we could have like just.
Doesn't Kevin have that?
Yeah, I could just borrow it from him while he does that, just so we have some shelter that we could think in instead of standing out in the cold.
I'll help. I mean, I can look around if Hondo wants to help you do that.
I was thinking, so is someone going to fly over this?
Yeah, I can fly over.
Maybe just see if before we do anything, is there anything above that we cannot see?
It's a good idea. Is it scary to fly condition-wise, or could I pull that off like wind-wise?
No, it does. It's not like Kenya's like unruly winter. Like it's not going to be comfortable. It's not going to be fun, but it's going to be doable.
Yeah, then let's do it. I'll go for a little ride.
Sure.
Jump on Fern.
You're going to do that. Who's going to helm investigating for the other like elements of the tower? Mary?
I can try. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead and throw me investigation for that. Val, go ahead and throw me perception.
Didn't roll well.
Man, rolled a 7 again. So 20 total. Dirty 20.
Okay. Mary, what was your total?
I rolled a 9 on the dice. Oh no, that's a 6. Great, I rolled a 6 on the dice. 12, 18 total.
Okay. We'll come back to that. It's going to take you a bit of time anyways. Like that's going to be a long trek to journey out and sift through snow and ice, see what you can find. So that's going to inform how long it is. Val, as you fly up and over, you get a decent look down. From the line that Alana and Mary kind of carved out in the snow, you can see it's like very easily distinct. And you can see this thing is like perfectly spherical. It's very obviously manifested by some arcane or some mind has created this. This is not natural in any way. And it definitely could, in your mind's eye, easily house within it at least a large portion of a collapsed tower, a crashed tower. But you don't get any further insights. From above, it seems like it is equally covered with snow. The only section that you're seeing, you just see a faint kind of break in the snow and ice towards the top of this mound, where you can see more of that exact same staticky energy. But it's very similar, and now there's a very obvious open pocket where Hondo has cleared most away. As you revert back down to the ground, unless you want to do anything else, you guys
I'll just think
able to
no,
make
you
a
keep
little
going.
igloo.
I'll tell them later.
You can make a little igloo with the decanter, no problem. It gives you guys a little bit of shelter away from the cold. But Mary, it's gonna like for an hour, you're out digging and searching in the snow and ice. I need you to make a Constitution saving throw for me.
Oh shit!
That I roll well. At least that's good. 23.
Nice.
It sucks. but you don't suffer exhaustion or anything like that. But you do find after this hour, or within this hour, south of this tower, you do find large chunks of alabaster stone in a line that would lead towards this tower, this structure bubble. There's a large chunk, maybe about 15 feet down, but it's jagged and sticking out at an angle. You can see like a section of broken wall. And you see a couple of other bits and pieces as you're digging around. And like over the hour and a half mark, you found like a series of plots of stone tower. So far, that's all you've
like
really found.
In like a rough line, or is it kind of everywhere?
Seems in a rough line, like leading towards this bubble.
Yeah, like whatever the tower was fell,
Yeah.
and the bubbles. Okay.
What if we tried? I'll come back down, go back on the earring after that hour and a half. What if we tried dispelling this? Gord, do you have dispel magic, or Mary, you have your sword, right?
It's just me.
Is that something I can inspire you for, or is that like a magic?
Well, okay, here's the thing. It has to be a spell. A magical effect it won't work on. Right, Kyle?
I'll have to look up the specifics of the spell. But
It has to be a spell, because there's like a level involved, and I have to hit the level of the spell. So if someone thinks this is a spell, there's a chance. I have to, like, even if you inspire me, I have to roll really high.
it says
This
choose
isn't
one
my bag.
creature, object, or magical effect within range.
Okay.
So potentially, however, Val, with your Arcana check from earlier, you're not confident. I mean, you can certainly try. There's no reason not to try, other than to save that for something you know is
Something
more
else.
effective. But this is something that is beyond the limitations of spell casting as you know it. This would be like taking beyond the most powerful spell and even imbuing that with a secondary version, potentially like divine capacity here has imbued this energy, this effect. This is something more powerful than dispel magic.
What about using the Wayfinder sphere to try and find Zeus' fate and see if it points us inside this sphere, this dome?
Not a bad idea.
I'm gonna try that, I think. Post up in the shelter of the igloo.
You're easily within the first increment range without having to burn any spells. You can use the base
Done.
Wayfinder sphere ability. You ignite, the sphere lights up, it does its quick little cast out of light, and then immediately falls inert at your feet.
Bonk. Huh. That's tough. Maybe it's tough with all the demi-planes of these towers and stuff.
You can easily explain a handful of ways that could have been
I'll
ineffective.
put it away. How are we going to get inside this thing, guys? I wonder if there's... Oh, I have an idea. Like, if we... How do I think about this?
We get dropped in.
What if we tried to break it? So, like, I want to test if we can... So if I use the water decanter, if I spray it, like, at it, basically I want to know, like, if I push the water through one part, does it stop down here? That is to say, could I make a hole by pressing above it? Or is it just, press right there and nothing else happens?
using the like geyser function,
Yeah.
or just I guess it's just a spray function.
Yeah.
You head back out into the cold and just kind of fire it at the energy, and almost instantaneously, it's like turning to snow and ice as you're releasing it, and it's just kind of mounding and piling atop. Like if this is the bubble, it's just kind of piling on top. It's not piercing, it's not affecting the bubble.
Okay, I'll stop. And the decanter back to Hondo.
Fill with the rest of the snow and ice that has accumulated over time.
We could try and teleport inside, but I mean, is it the barrier itself that is causing this time thing, or is it being inside it?
Yeah.
You can make another Arcana check based on that query if you want.
Let's do it. This is my like third 7 in a row.
Oof.
So 19, but because it's important, I'll add another fearless skill. Plus 10, so 29.
There you go. Okay. You guys have spent, at this point, about 2 hours pushing into 3 hours. By the time you guys have really been sitting here thinking about this, the day has properly gotten its start. And you're pushing into territory of arcane knowledge far superior than your own.
Mm-hmm.
But you've amassed a pretty significant amount of knowledge in a short span of time and seem to be tapped into many different avenues of further expansion of arcane knowledge. And whether those bolts of inspiration are coming from Titania or from some other place beyond, maybe divine intervention itself, you're pulling together the threads of ideas of arcane knowledge that should surpass you, but you're able to kind of see through that weave, that veil. The barrier is just that. It's a barrier. In theory, you could pass through physically, but obviously that causes significant pain and potential deterioration. To teleport through, you have a pretty strong idea that teleporting via the actual like teleport or teleportation circle, using those kinds of spells, it's possible. If you're thinking of it in terms of like the prismatic wall, it's just a wall. It has a certain width, and then beyond that is normal space. As far as you can understand, this effect is just the wall. Within, you're not close enough to understand how it's working. But you get the feeling that it has something to do with the passage of time. It seems to have been frozen, locked, or super sped or super slowed. That you can't really know without getting within. But you think short range teleportation and possibly full on teleport, now that you're here and you're doing, I want to go 40 feet that way, that's more attainable than trying to jump in from a long distance. It's possible.
I feel like we could teleport in, guys. I've been thinking about it, looking at Fern's little wound. I think it's like the wall itself that causes the deterioration of time. So I think if we were to bamf in, we could do it.
Let's do it.
How?
I can dimension door. Brawley can dimension door. We can each take one person. And Hondo could technically teleport through with Whisper if we wanted to save a spell.
Okay.
Or I could fall. Or I could fall and teleport us.
Don't waste that. I feel like we might need that. Not waste. That's not the right word. If it accomplishes what we need to, okay. You filled up my gem again. So technically,
That's
I can
true.
do it too.
Kev, your dagger went through, right, when you threw it?
Mm-hmm.
Or did it just disintegrate into bits of rust and iron and we didn't see?
Let's try this. Who wants to go through it with me? Hannah, do you want to go first? Do you want me to?
I'll do it.
You're going to throw Whisper and teleport through?
Mm-hmm.
Fuck.
Let's do it.
All right, do it.
Before you do, I just want to get the lay of the land.
Sure.
Honda's going to throw Whisper and teleport via Whisper.
Mm-hmm.
Valentine is going to Dimension Door.
With Gord, maybe?
Yeah, that's why I need to know the pairings, I guess, for what's happening. We've got Mary, Alana, Gord, Val, Fern.
H. So Fern might not be able to go.
Well, you can't bring Fern. He's not your size, right?
Yeah.
Okay,
True.
so secondarily, can we make sure every pair has either a healing spell or potions or both?
Mm-hmm. I can heal.
I'm checking
I can
my
bring-
inventory.
I can bring Gord. Gord can't heal. If you go with Brawley, I'm sure you guys have potions.
I have potion. I have just plain old mean regular potions of healing. Does Gord have any potions of healing in case something happens to you?
I assume he does. Let me check my little thing here. Gord has 3 regular potions.
I have 2 regular potions and a superior potion.
I think the
That's
superior
right.
got used, didn't it?
No, this was a different one that we got.
Oh, okay.
And Hondo has 1 superior and 2 regulars. You might have used one down in the abyss, I can't remember, or in the Kraken thing. But regardless, you have a potion.
Yep.
All right, let's try it.
The last thing I need to know is, are you doing this simultaneously, or someone's going to go and then everyone's just going to wait and see?
Here's the thing. If time is fucking here, if it's anything like, it might be 5 seconds for us, and inside it could either be hours, it could be less, it could be... If things are moving... Okay, I always fuck this up when I think about it. If things are moving super fast in there, that means that time out here seems super slow to them, which means that if someone goes in and then 5 seconds later someone else goes in, that 5 seconds could be
5
hours.
Mm-hmm.
That stands to reason.
So we should do it all at the same time.
Simultaneously kind of seems like a better idea.
So let's do it all at the same time.
Oh god, if we all died at the exact same time.
Yeah, total party kill. It's pretty easy.
So I mean,
You just start fresh.
it makes it super easy on me, really.
Let me go first, and then
Now we gotta go all at the same time.
if I
'Cause
die,
we won't
No.
know. How will we know?
because here's what
time.
I'll go in and then come right out if I'm okay. If I don't come right out, that means I'm dead.
But time might go quick in there, so you might be in there for like hours. What if something attacks you in those hours? I mean, it's not a bad idea actually. Like,
Well,
you
actually,
could try
no,
it.
because it would be faster for us. If he can do that, then he goes in, he comes out. For us, it's going to seem like a half second. The problem
Yeah,
is
unless
if you
You're
go
not
in and then...
understanding time here. You're not understanding time.
The other problem is also we don't know if it's like a wall that you go in and out of.
True. You
That's
could try
true.
forever. All together, everyone,
let's just
same
do it.
time.
I'm
It'll
not
all
gonna
affect
do
us
that.
at the same time. Let's see if it kills us.
All right,
Let's
let's
fucking
do
do
it.
Okay. Hondo throws Whisper as Alana closes the Cape of the Mountebank around herself. Mary, you activate the gate gem.
No.
Or the,
Brawley can do it on Mary.
Oh, okay.
No, she can't. We're different sizes, aren't we? Or no, is it
You
dwarf
guys
and
are
medium?
You guys are medium.
Oh, thank God. Okay.
I'll hold Gord's paw.
Brawley grabs hold of Mary, closes the cape around the two of you, and Bamf. What is the? It's not command, but what's the direction?
How far are we going?
What's the direction?
We
you're
didn't
casting?
discuss
I
this.
say if we're all on a line in front of it and it's 5 feet away from us, the wall, I say we go 10 feet inside. That is to say, we go 10 feet from where we are now. I expect this wall isn't 5 feet long. Don't want to go too far and hit something. That feels safe, right? Any thoughts?
How tall is this? The middle of this?
How tall is from
If it's a
base from the
dome.
ground to the top?
Yeah.
It's maybe 25 feet.
So what's a distance in which we're not like head still sticking out of it if it's a dome?
You'd probably be fine at 10 feet, maybe 15 for safety.
Do 15. Brawley's excited.
You know roughly it's like
fucking pumped.
80 feet across. So like middle is 40. So count back that way if you want to.
Let's do it. 15 feet.
Okay.
Yep.
Cape closes around Mary and Alana. Valentine, with a hand to Gord's shoulder, casts innately through his bardic abilities. Hondo, with Whisper, as you see them dissipating, you throw and you watch as Whisper connects and passes through the wall.
Now, what happens?
Hondo, as Whisper passes through, you give it a beat. You need to make sure that it connects. You can't see where it's connecting to, and you're connected. You're attuned to Whisper, so you can feel like when you have the ability to kind of transform and move with it. There's this kind of unspoken innate connection that you like internally find when Whisper hits a point and you can teleport alongside it. You feel that point connect. I need you to make Constitution saving throw.
Okay.
Is this okay? Okay.
Okay. Oh, there we go. And it is.
Okay.
15 on the dice.
What do you add?
My
Oh,
con
10.
save, my con save is +3.
18.
18.
Not bad. Oh, Kyle's face.
What is happening? What's going on?
That's what we're gonna do. Okay.
Oh no.
Oh no.
At least I'm not the only one.
Oh, we'll see.
Valentine and Gord, Mary and Alana, each of you suffer 12 points of damage.
Okay.
Okay.
100 points? Whoa.
12.
As the spell closes around you and you fixate your minds on this point in space. Immediately, you feel the arcane magic close in around you, and that same familiar teleportation. This is totally, you've done this before in Valentine. You've done this way more than anybody else here. This is not uncommon, but halfway through it, it becomes very uncommon. There is this dilation of time as you can feel half of your body get through, and the other half is pulled a long time, hundreds of years. You're stretched thin, and then as the first part of you connects with the time you intended to, the back end of you catches up, and there's this horrible sensation as you land properly, feet on stone, within a beautifully spiraling courtyard of intricate stone pattern before a tower of pure white.
Wicked!
In a flash, a flurry of activity passes through. The roar of a dragon pitches high then low. It blurs as colors race across the courtyard and fly above the tower. An eruption midway up the tower sends chunks of wall careening outward that then get frozen in space and time. And the entire scene freezes before you. You are amidst the battle of Dragon's Rend. You stand within the heart of the fight. Ancient dragons, younglings, frozen in space encircling the Alabaster Tower. You see 8 robed figures in the middle of incantation, frozen bolts of lightning streaking from the tips of wands and hands, and arcane hands grappling the throats of a massive black dragon.
Yes.
The scene pitches once more, and the courtyard is strewn with rubble. You see 4 of those robed figures laying crumpled beneath heavy chunks, blood-strewn alabaster, and bleeding from massive draconic jaws. Above the scene, you still see clinging to the side of the tower, a 5-headed monstrosity bears down on the scene, again frozen in time. You see the dragon goddess Tiamat, the patron of chromatic dragons, ahead of each kind. One breathes icy breath into the open chunk of wall in the tower. The green head reels back as you watch it slowly dissolve, disintegrated to ash. The blue head has a wizard, one of the 8, in its mouth, blood pouring out over fangs. The figure screaming in pain but elongated in pitch. The black head just raggedly severed from the body, hanging by sinew from the main structure, while the red main head breathes a gout of flame across the battlefield, all hung in a picture-perfect snapshot you're witnessing before you. And again, time rapidly speeds on and falls still once more, quiet. You all look startled to your right, and you see Whisper connect about 10 feet to the right as all of you fall, because you teleported 15 feet straight, but not down to where the ground is.
Cool.
All of you take an additional 11 points of bludgeoning damage.
I'm just 11, right?
You haven't arrived yet.
But buddy boy, you're not here yet.
You all land hard. Whisper connects to the ground, and you guys look over to see Whisper. The tip of Whisper is, as you know, Whisper, but back along, it is pockmarked with deterioration, like soaking in acid for hundreds of years. The hilt, the leather of the hilt is all but withered away, and you can just barely see the first couple of bone fingers before the hand is just gone from its former wielder. The courtyard is still and quiet, save the crackle of flame and the sizzle of acidic pools. These bodies that surround the space as you pull yourselves up, still and dead. The heavy thud. The ground quakes. The ground beneath you shifts. You watch as a dragon form draws itself up from around the tower. 3 heads shifting, sniffing. 1 head dragging behind it. You see Tiamat still stands, but she is emaciated. The eyes are dry and bloodshot, sunken in, scales seemingly taut over an almost skeletal frame. But as all 6 eyes of the 3 heads flash to you, you do not see intelligent life. You see feral, bestial rage, hunger, as the dragon goddess, what's left of her, rises and charges towards you all. And that's where we're going to pick up next time. Thanks for tuning in. Join us next time as the Wildcards battle against the evil dragon goddess Tiamat in the flow of time itself. There'll be a new episode up every Tuesday, so stay tuned. But until then, keep exploring.